Blood off my hands, the judgment coming fast, too much blood on his lane. The second Exodus is about to happen, ain't plain. He's sending out the winds, on this rock we gon' stand. We gon' trust the son of man. This the final hour, was disconnected from the source, we done found the power. Messiah built the church back, gotta trust the founder. The carpenter, got the father with him, ain't no stopping you. Protected by the winds if you got his help with you. Stand on the narrow, the father gon' provide, y'all his eyes on the sparrow.
You heard him right. You heard him right. He said the Father is going to provide. The Father is going to provide. I got to look at another camera, so I'm okay. I'm good. Yeah, he said the Father going to provide. Let's give all praises, honor, glory, esteem to the Most High Yahawah, our Father, the Ancient of Days, the Giver of life, the Taker of life, the one who woke us up this morning, the very essence, the very spirit, the very life that we have in us. We say thank you, Abba, for waking us up. For your mercy and compassion is new every morning. Therefore, we put our trust in you, your only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, our brother, our friend, our intercessor, our mediator, all those things, many titles that he has. We say, Tawada, thank you, brother. And to all the Ahchyam, the Ahchwathyam, which are the brothers and sisters in the four corners of the earth, right? We say, Shalawam, peace and blessings to all of y'all out there. Peace and blessings to everybody. Once again, always we give praises, honor, and glory, esteem to our Father. I got my brother here, my Ak. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Ak, and say anything that you want to say.
Hey, Shalawam family. Once again, I want to say I pray all is well with you and yours. I want to give all praises, just like the Ak was saying a minute ago. Give all praises to our Abba Nawa Yahawah, and his son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, and just thank the Most High for allowing us to wake up this morning, allowing us to be a part of his glorious and beautiful Shabbat, right? Allowing us to wake up and be part of this and understand who we are as a people and what we must do, right? So I want to give all praises to our Abba Nawa Yahawah in the name of his son, Hamashiach Yahawashi.
Khan. All praises. If you have tapped in and you're looking at the video, you see the title on there. It says, prepare yourself for what? The election, right? Prepare yourself. So, of course, we're going to go into the scriptures to see what the word has to say, the word that the Father left us. If I may, or unless you have something you want to start off with, brother, I would just like to jump to the book of Proverbs real quick. But if you have something, let it be known and we'll go there first.
Khan, you want Proverbs?
Khan. And Shalawam to everybody in the chat. Oh, okay. The brother Philip left something called Halal Yahawah Shama Mashiach Yahawashi Barakatham Khan. And then Jenny Woods, she said Shalawam. Okay, Shalawam. The water for you guys in the chat. Yeah, let me share my screen real quick. Let me go to it. Share the screen. Khan. We'll go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 20. It's so much in that chapter, you know. Man, it's so much meat in there. I think I'm just gonna do 4, 5, and then we'll jump down a little bit. Can I get 4 and 5?
Khan. The book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 4. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing.
Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? What is it talking about? The sluggard. We know a sluggard is what? What is a sluggard? Even in the workforce today, somebody who what? Is lazy. That's what a sluggard is known as, someone who's lazy. And it says will not plow by reason of the cold, meaning the season that he's in, maybe it's winter time and it's cold outside, right? Hypothetically. And he don't want to go out and work because it's cold. It said, therefore shall he beg in the harvest and have nothing. When it's time where everybody else have things, like the parable of the 10 virgins, when they had their oil, when they were prepared, when you getting ready to enter into the kingdom, he's going to be begging to get let in. He's going to be begging for that oil. Why? Because he didn't do the work while he could and while he had the chance. Why? Because he was lazy or she was lazy. This go hand in hand, men and women, right? Verse 5.
Verse 5. Counsel is in the heart of a man. It's like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out.
Now that's deep right there, prophetic almost. Counsel. Ahchyam are always talking about going to counsel when certain things happen within the community or certain things happen within the brotherhood, as I like to say, because I look at it as a brotherhood. They may say congregation, camp, and so forth. But people always want to go to counsel, right? It says counsel in the heart of a man is like deep water. When we think of deep water, what do you think about? For people that have a pool, maybe 12 feet. In the ocean, it's even deeper. People are scared of deep water because why? You might drown. If you don't know how to really swim, if you don't know how to conduct yourself, if you don't know how to, how can I say, float, or what do they call that when you swimming? Paddle. No, not paddle. What's the other word?
You said it right, float.
Float, is it like treading water? You know, because you can swim and then you can come up, tread water, take a breath, and then you can go back and swim again, right? So those are people that actually know how to swim in deep water. They don't get paranoid. They don't panic. They don't start to do things that they ought not do. So the counsel is in the heart of men like deep water. So you need understanding to understand how to deal with that deepness, that deep water, that deep counsel that you're going to get into. You need the understanding of who? The Most High. This is why it says in the last part, but a man of understanding will draw it out. Otherwise, it will not come out. Unless it's a man of understanding that will draw it out. Meaning you have to know how to swim in that deep water. You know, you have to. You can't. I know people say in this world, just throw him in there and see if he can, either he gonna sink or swim. You know, but why not teach your brother so he don't sink? Why not educate the brother or the sister so they don't sink instead of just throwing them in there and maybe they sink and maybe they swim? You would have more if you would teach them prior before just throwing them in there. Give them the understanding so they will know. Right, verse 6.
Verse 6. Most men will proclaim every one his own goodness. But a faithful man who can find.
And that's, man, that right there, every man says he's good. He's a good friend, right? I'm a good friend to you. But like we know, as the Bible says, to prove that friend. Yeah, he might say he's a good friend, or she might say she's a good friend, but prove that person. This is what it's talking about. Most men will proclaim. Proclaim means to just say something. I'm a good person. I love you. A lot of people proclaim things, but do you actually show it? Do you live it out? It's easy to proclaim something, just like when it comes to the word, to the Bible. He said, many are going to say to me on that day, Master, Master, have I not did this? Have I not? He's going to say, I don't know you. You proclaimed that you knew me. You proclaimed that you was a follower of mine. But really, you was what? You was a servant of the devil or Hasatan. That's why it says in the last part, but a faithful man who can find. A faithful man. A faithful man. What do women are always screaming out here today and have been screaming for the last 50, 100 years? What have women in today's time been screaming? There's no good man. I want a good man. I want a faithful man. Well, isn't this something that the Most High and Hamashiach Yahawashi is saying the same thing? Where can we find a faithful man that will stand up for what? Righteousness. It's the same thing that's being said. Like I said, who can find that? Verse 7.
Verse 7. The just man walketh in his integrity. His children are blessed after him.
He walks in integrity. Anybody knows what the word integrity means? Anybody? Nobody? Integrity means to do the right thing even when no one is there or looking. meaning you're going to walk upright no matter if the Most High is here or his son is with you here or he's not here, he's absent. You still going to walk upright. That's why it says the just man. Just in the Bible means a righteous man walking in his integrity. And his children are blessed after him, right? Let's jump down to verse 22, and we'll read a couple verses. Like I said, so much meat in here, but I just wanted to open it up with a few things. But we'll jump to verse 22, and we'll read on down. 22.
Verse 22. Say not thou, I will recompense evil, but wait on Yahweh, and he shall save thee.
Now, what does that mean? In today's time, 2025 and prior, people want to get revenge on people that did them wrong, evil, right? They want to take it upon themselves to recompense evil, meaning they want what? Payback, get back. They want to recompense that. But the Bible says, but wait on who? Yahweh, and he shall save thee. So should we go and seek vengeance or payback on people that did us wrong? Should we seek that? Let me get it in the comparative text right here. If you can see it on the screen, in the NLT, read that.
NLT. Don't say, I will get even for this wrong.
I will do what?
I will get even for this wrong.
Uh-huh.
Wait for Yahweh to handle the matter.
And see, that's what's wrong with us as a people. We seek to get even when we're done wrong. And that's what we're taught. We are taught, as I can say, for the community that I grew up in, when somebody does you wrong, you seek for that revenge, right? It says, I will get even, meaning whatever they did to me, I'm going to do back to them for this wrong. But the Bible says, wait for Yahweh to handle the matter. Why? Because he's going to handle it in what? Righteousness. When you go and do it, you doing it in emotions of flesh. It is not going to be handled in the correct way. That's why it says, wait on Yahweh to do it. Verse 23.
Verse 23. Divers weights are an abomination unto Yahweh, and a false balance is not good.
A false what?
A false balance is not good.
A false balance. The Most High hates everything that is false. So if your balance is unrighteous and not right, it is not good in the eyes and sight of the Most High. It's actually an abomination to him. Go ahead, verse 24.
Verse 24. Man's goings are of Yahweh. How can a man then understand his own way?
And this one right here, I actually, for some time, reading this, I would struggle with this, right? Because we always barakatah, we always think in our life the things that happen, you know, all these things that happen, things that you're going through, just a lot of ups and downs in life. But then it says right here, Yahweh directs our steps. So why try to understand everything along the way? And it's very stressful to try to understand everything. Why did this happen? Why did this? How can this? And you believe in the Most High. You believe in his only begotten son, Hamashiach Yahawashi. So you was like, why would this happen? And I believe and I'm serving him. Why would he allow for something like this to happen? But, well, she just said it in the background. That's what's meant to happen. But yet we don't understand why would something so hurtful and painful or something that would anger you so much, why would it be allowed to happen to you, to people that you love, or whoever? Just why? But right here it says, listen, don't try to understand everything along the way, because your steps are directed by the Most High, which leads us into the lesson for the day, that your steps are directed by the Most High, which means that what? If your steps are directed, that means your life is already, or your course is already chosen on which avenue, which way is going to go. So either you are elect and you need to prepare yourself for the actual election that's coming to make it into the kingdom of heaven, or as Paul spoke about, you will be a vessel chosen for what? Dishonor, destruction, vengeance, and prepare yourself for that too. You will know who and what you are by the way you live. The Spirit will bear witness to you who you are. You know, a lot of Akim always say that the Spirit bear witness, but people don't really understand what that actually means. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 45 if you don't have anything.
Salakia, if I may. So, as we're reading this, right, we're reading this as in Proverbs, which for those that can see and understand that we're reading out of the Old Testament, right? For those that make it a big deal. So that in itself should show you that the wisdom and understanding that comes from the Old Testament. So for those that say it's no longer needed, it doesn't have any use anymore, it shows you that that's completely wrong, which is we should be telling those, hey, if you read the Old Testament, it's going to only help your understanding when you get to the New Testament. So what we're reading right here is some very good wisdom, right? So again, this is something. Go ahead.
You know what the Bible say about wisdom? Fools despise and they hate wisdom. They hate knowledge. You know. See, certain people will click on this and watch this, but as we read it and as we talking, they'll click off and they'll move on. Why? It's okay. It doesn't upset me. It doesn't hurt me in any type of way. But the word lets us know that fools hate knowledge. They despise it. And you have to understand you have to understand yourself. What are you feeding yourself? And this goes for all of us. It goes for me. It goes for my children, my household. It goes for everybody. What are you feeding yourself? Because the Bible says man don't live on bread alone, meaning it ain't about just what you eating and putting in your mouth. What are you feeding your soul? What are you feeding that life force within you? And if you're not giving it anything, then it's perishing. It's dying anyway. It's dying day to day. Let me see. I said Isaiah 45.
You want 4?
Start at 2.
Time.
And we'll work our way down. But yeah, 4 is where it's at, you know. But yeah, we'll start at 2.
So, okay, real quick, for those that are watching, just give us a notification and a comment and let us know how the audio's going, how everything's running. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 2. I will go before thee and make the crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of brass and cut in sunder the bars of iron.
Mm-hmm. So the Most High is doing some work. He's working before you even get there. Before you even know what's going to happen, he's working out things for you before you even show up. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And I will give thee the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I, Yahawah, which call thee by thy name, am the Most High of Israel.
He's the Most High of who?
Of Israel.
So when people say, I believe in the Holy Bible, they need to know who it is that they believe in and who it is that they serve and who it is that he has chosen for his election, who he has chosen for his elect. He said he is the power, right? The Elohim or the Allah, however you want to say it, of who? Israel. In the Hebrew, Yashra Allah. That's who he's the power of. Verse 4.
Verse 4. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me.
They haven't known him because why? They continue to go off, right? But Jacob is his servant. He has chosen a particular servant. And he said, for Jacob, my servant. What does a servant do? Does anybody know? What does a servant do? Huh? They serve you, right? They give you a service. So if Jacob is his servant, then he needs to be doing what? Anybody that comes from Jacob, we know Jacob's name was changed to Israel. He had 12 sons, which are the 12 tribes of Israel. All those 12 tribes of Israel, all those sons and daughters of Israel are the Most High's what? Servants. And they need to do what? Serve him. Servitude, right? But he says, you don't even know me. You don't even know me. And you are my elect. Isaiah 45:4, he says, you are my, Israel is my elect. But what? They don't even know me. When you don't know somebody, you don't serve them properly. You don't treat them with respect. You don't treat them with love because you don't know them, right? Somebody you know, when something bad happens to them, you will feel a certain emotion. It will hurt you. You might cry. You might go through something. Why? Because you're attached to that person. But if somebody else passes away or dies or something, they tell you, they say, hey, man, that girl around the corner, she died last night. You will say, oh, man, that's so sad. But it won't affect you, right? Because you didn't know her personally. This is what the Most High is saying, that you don't know me. Verse 5.
Verse 5. I am Yahawah, and there is none else.
Mm-hmm.
There is no Ahchyam beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me.
I girded thee, even though you didn't know me. I'm still protecting you. I'm still giving you life every day, even though you don't know me, even though you don't serve me, even though you don't keep my law, statutes, and commandments. I have girded thee. Let's see what that word, right? We'll just go into it like this, right? The NLT says, I have equipped you for what? Battle. Even though you don't know me, he still has equipped you for battle. He hasn't left you out there basically in a war with no sword, no equipment, no helmet, no boots, no shirt. You're still equipped for battle, even though you don't know him. If that's not love, I don't know what it is. If that's not love, tell me what that is. Somebody is still giving you something, even though, and when he says you don't know me, it means that you're not serving me. That's what it means, right? Because Israel, at this point in time, they all knew who the Most High was because they had, they knew him. But what he's saying is you don't know me because you're not walking in my righteousness. You're not walking in my law, statute, and commandments. That's what he means. Verse 6.
Verse 6. That they may know from the rising of the sun
Mm-hmm.
and from the west that there is none beside me. I am Yahawah, and there is none else.
There is none else. Nobody or anything, any other deity is compared to the Most High, Yahawah. That's why he's called the Shaddai Allah, which means the almighty power. That's why he makes the claim, and he shows you in his claim that there is none like him. And he's going to let you know right in the very next verse, verse 7.
Verse 7. I form the light
Mm-hmm.
and create darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I make peace and create evil. I, Yahawah, do all these things.
Now, in verse 7, I like this verse because he says, I form the light. A lot of people always refer back to Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1 on down when they always say it was darkness and then he brought forth the light, right? So he says, I form the light. We know that he brought forth the light. But then he says, I create darkness, right? So when we read Genesis chapter 1, it says darkness was already here. And the earth as we know it was void. And it said the spirit of the Most High, or the spirit of Elohim, was hovering over the face of what? The water. So if he create darkness, then he was already here. It was already there. if he create darkness, he only brought the essence of what? Light to form what? The earth. When you go into it, as I did other lessons about it being void and in darkness, when you go into them words void and things like that, the shape of it, the essence of it, it was a place of wickedness. It was a place of unrighteousness, desolate. But he brought forth the light, because when you bring something to the light, it what? It grows. It prospers. So just as this is why all throughout the New Testament, when Hamashiach comes, he said what? I am the light of the world, the light that lighteth every man. John 3:19 says that light has came into the world, but man love darkness because what? Their deeds are evil. See, the light that was formed in Genesis 1 was the light that came into what? The earth. But the darkness that was there, it never left. And the men from the beginning, they always loved darkness. Goes all the way back to Cain. When he gave his first offering, the Most High told him, hey, Cain, sin is at your doorstep. All you have to do is go give another offering, you know, get the best of the best and bring it to me. But if you don't do that, sin is at your doorstep. But Cain took the route of what? Going into sin. But that was his calling. That was his election. And he fell right into it. And now from that day forth, we have a line of Cain still to this day, which we know is Esau, right? The nation of Edom. But I don't want to get off subject, but there's an election to everything. But right here, he says, I form light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. So we give credit to too many other deities or too many other fashions in this world. We have to give all credit to the Most High. Like she said earlier, that's why that was supposed to happen. When we read Proverbs 20 and 24, a man's goings are of the Most High. So why try to understand it? Why did that evil thing happen? I don't know. But the Most High set it up like that. That's just how he set it up. It's not for us to understand. And he lets us know right here that he created the evil. So if evil came upon you, it was something that he set up for you to go through in your life. Why? I don't know. It could be from other sin that you did prior in your life. It could be some sin that you're going to commit later on. I don't know. But whatever it is, he set it up like that for a reason. Now we're going to go into verse 8. And as you can see on the screen, it says, Elohim supreme power, letting you know once again that there is none like him. And everything he does is for his elect, to make sure his election is what? Sure and true. And we have to do the same thing as his elect people to make sure your calling, because many are called, but few are chosen. You want to make sure that if you call, you do everything within your power that he has given you. As Paul said, run that race to be in first place, to win. Verse 8, if you don't have anything to add.
Verse 8, drop down, ye heavens, from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness, and let the earth open, and let them bring forth salvation, and let righteousness spring up together. I, Yahweh, have created it.
Go on. Keep going.
Verse 9, woe unto him that striveth with his maker. Let the potsherd strive with the potsherds of the earth. Should the clay say to him that fashioned it, what makest thou? Or thy work he hath no hands. Woe unto him that saith unto his father, what begettest thou? Or to the woman, what hast thou brought forth?
Well, he's just going in to let you know that he created you. That's why I said you strive with your maker, that he created you. It wasn't your mama. It wasn't your daddy. He created you. He is the maker. All we are vessels that are carrying the life essence that he put inside of us. The man carries the seed, which was given from our maker. The woman is the incubator, and he created her that seed could incubate inside of her so he can give it life. And then she's the vessel or the matrix where the womb comes. I mean, where the body comes out of her womb. And all that was created from who? Him. So he's the maker. If he hadn't created it and didn't make us like this, then we wouldn't be bringing forth children. But he told Adam and Eve to go forth and what? Multiply the earth. So that's why we were created like this. So he's basically saying, as the maker of everything, as the clay maker of everything, how can you say to me, why did you fashion me like this? Why did you make me like this? Why? People always got something to say about why. And he's just letting you know you don't have the power to ask me why I did what I did. I'm the creator. You are my creation. And once people start to realize that you are the creation and not the creator, you can be more subject, or you can be more humble within inside yourself. Because right now people are living in straight pride and being proudful and boastful when they haven't created anything. There's nothing that a man created on earth that he should get honor and glory for. Let's be honest. Because the very mind that you have to even think of the concept to create a TV or whatever, radio or whatever, the Most High gave you that brain. So you didn't even do nothing to have the brain that you have today. It was him that gave you that brain that put those thoughts in the memory, and everything that's firing off in your head. He gave that to you. So all glory goes to him. This is why he's saying, woe unto you. Verse 10,
Verse 10. Woe unto him that saith unto his father, What begettest thou? Or to the woman, what hast thou brought forth?
What hast thou brought forth? You're going to turn around and ask your father, your daddy, or even your maker, or your mother, or a woman. You know, this is bold. Verse 11.
Verse 11. Thus saith Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, and his maker, ask me of things to come concerning my sons, and concerning the work of my hands command ye me. I have made the earth, and created man upon it. I, even my hands, have stretched out the heavens, and all their hosts have I commanded.
So every man that we see upon earth was created by who? The Most High. And he put man on the earth. That's the only reason why you here. So you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I was created by the Most High, and he put me on here. He put me here on earth. But for what purpose and for what reason? Let's go to Exodus 34. And we'll start at verse 10. We're not going to read it all. If you haven't read Exodus 34, please go back and read it. I encourage you, right? But today we're speaking about the elect. We're speaking about the election and the people that are elect, right? So for those people that believe on the Most High Yahawah, that believe on his only begotten Son, that the Spirit bear witness of, are in, right? And you have given your life to him, and you walking this thing out, trying to figure things out and find your way back, and have been put here on this earth. These are some of the things that we need to go to show you why you were put here on earth, so you can get a greater understanding. Verse 10.
Exodus chapter 34, verse 10. And he said, Behold, I make a covenant. Before all thy people I will do marvels, such as have not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among which thou art shall see the work of Yahweh. For it is a terrible thing that I will do with thee. Observe thou that which I command this day. Behold, I drive out before thee the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite.
Mm-hmm.
Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee.
So, Salakia, he's letting you know wherever I put you on the earth, right? Of course, he's talking to the children of Israel right now, where they're about to go into the land. But we have to take heed to the words that are being spoken here, because as he said, my word never changes. His words always stay the same, right? And he said he was going to scatter us to the four corners of the earth. So the same thing applies. It says, take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, whither thou goest. So we have to make sure that we don't partake and make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land that we're in at this present time. Peter speaks about this in the New Testament, that we are strangers and pilgrims in this earth. So we can't make a covenant with these people that we're here amongst, because the chosen and the elect, they are not like all of the regular people that are here on this earth. You were sent here to bring forth what? Light in a place of darkness, to bring forth that word in a place of what? Darkness. This is why he says his word is a lamp. Psalms 119, 105. His word is a lamp to what? Thy feet. Imagine you in a dark place, hypothetically, and then we'll move on. Imagine you in a dark, dark place, no light. You light a lamp, or you light one of those things like the people have in those movies with the stick, and they got a bandage around it and they light it. What they call those? A torch.
Yeah.
Imagine you in the wilderness, no light. You got a torch, and then you trying to look for something, and you say, "Oh man, let me sit the torch down so I can try to find this." You sit the torch down, and the torch burn out, or it goes out, or it fizzles out, or you couldn't see that it was some water there, and you set it down, and it got water, and it went out. You can't put the word down for anything. And I'm as I could tell you, I'm learning that. You cannot put the word down. You have to keep it nigh to you. Meaning you have to keep that torch. You have to keep that lamp in your hand. You cannot take the time to sit it down, because as soon as you sit it down, it might fizzle out. It might go out. Who knows? Somebody else might take it to need the light. You know, they saying you sit it down. They like, oh, run by and snatch it. Like he don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
So you hold on to that, like he says in the Bible, hold on to his word, cleave unto it. Because if you happen to sit it down, you don't know if it's going to be there when you go back to pick it up. You know, so take heed to thyself not to make covenants with the inhabitants of the land where he has put you. That means wherever you at. Like me, I'm in America right now. You know, if I was in England or Britain or Australia, I would have to make sure that I don't make a covenant with those people, meaning I don't indulge and partake in they things that they do, right? They have a festival that day on the 20th or whatever. I'm not going to that festival because I'm not a part of that inhabitants of that land. The only people that will go to that festival is the people that are inhabitants of that land. They're okay with everything that's going on. So I'm going to stand out because why? I'm set apart. And in order to be called set apart, which is holy, I can't partake in the things that they are partaking in the inhabitants of that land, because this is not my home. Yahweh Shai let us know this kingdom is not of what? His world. So like I said, we have to look at this two folds right here. Go ahead.
Verse 13.
Con.
But ye shall destroy their altars, break their images, cut down their groves.
And that's why we have pictures of that picture of Caesar Borgia or whoever they want to call it, you know, that man, that image that they put up. You know, if I could, I would take a sledgehammer to all those statues and bust them down and set them on fire like Moses did and burn them down to what? Ashes. And as Moses did, make the people eat those ashes, right? And this is what we're commanded to do. But we do it not in a physical sense right now. We do it in what? in a spiritual sense, but we do it through our word, where we speaking the destruction of those altars, letting you know to come out of that. We're breaking down those images, showing you that those images that you see on the walls and everything, that is wrong. So that's how we're breaking it down now. Go ahead, verse 14.
Verse 14. For thou shalt worship no other God. For Yahawah, whose name is jealous, is a jealous Alahayam.
So he's let you know that he's jealous. And every woman has been through something with a jealous guy that likes her, or a jealous boyfriend, or just a jealous guy in general that likes her. And she can't talk to anybody. She can't look at anybody. She can't walk a certain way. She can't do this. It's so many things that she can't do because he's so jealous. He's so jealous. Well, the Most High is letting you know that he's jealous. So no, you can't go to those other churches. No, you can't. No, you can't go to the 4th of July festival that's coming up. You can't go to the Memorial Day festival that's coming up, or the Labor Day festival, or Halloween, or whatever other day of the land of disinhabitants that you live in. No. Why? Because the Most High that we serve, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Hamashiach Yahawashi, Christ, right? He is jealous, and he's letting you know that. We're going to read to 16, so verse 15.
Verse 15. Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land. And they go a-whoring after their gods.
They go do what?
Go a-whoring after their gods.
That's the problem. If you go with these people and you start to hang out with them, you go to the 4th of July celebration, and next thing you know, you got on a red and white and blue hat with the flag on it, with the whistle, and next thing you know, you dressed up like a vampire with blood on Halloween, not knowing that you're worshiping their deities. And then you go a-whoring after their gods or their deities or those or their Elohayams. Go ahead.
And do sacrifice unto their gods. And one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice.
And then you start eating of the sacrifice. Come on over. They won't know. You ain't got to tell them. We give you a little plate. Just come by. We give you a plate. They won't know it's a Christmas plate. They won't know it's a Thanksgiving plate. You didn't put no pork on there. They lied to you and tell you, no, I didn't use no pork when I cooked them greens, knowing that they used a little bit of pork, little ham. But they if they gonna come get the plate, they not too concerned about it. Now you eating what they don't gave you. Going against the Most High. He already told you he's jealous. And now you eating what has been sacrificed to their God, their deity. Verse 16, and we'll stop there.
Verse 16. And thou take of their daughters unto thy sons. And their daughters go a-whoring after their gods. And make thy sons go a-whoring after their gods.
This is why we're not supposed to mix like that, right? In the scriptures. Why? Because it's saying now you're going to take some of the daughters and then they going to go off, and then vice versa. The sons, they going to start going off, right? We have to make sure the election stays true. The Most High has it set up a certain way. Deuteronomy 7:6. Mayan Napash Ya Khan. Shalawam Mayan Napash Ya. Shalawam, how you doing? The brother Philip got it. He was like, Deuteronomy 7:6, the classic. Most people know about this, but we're going to bring it out anyway. Deuteronomy 7:6.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto Yahawah thy Elohayam. Yahawah thy Elohayam have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Now, a lot of people got a problem with this one verse, right? But hey, it's in the Torah. It was written thousands of years ago. And we know that the nation of Israel was chosen by the Most High. Like I say, if you don't believe in the scriptures, if you don't believe in the Bible, then hey, this is the wrong channel for you. Go ahead and click off, right? This is for Bible believers. If you don't believe, then hey, click off, move on. Go to a channel that, you know, talks about something else who don't believe. But this is for Bible believers that believe in the Most High of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that he has chosen a special people unto himself. And it says above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So clearly there are a nation of people that the Most High has chosen to be his elect. And you can't deny that. And he goes on to reiterate it in verse 7 and 8. Continue on.
Verse 7. Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people. For you were the fewest of all people. But because Yahweh loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
So we know he's talking about the children of Israel, because those are the children, or those are the people that were redeemed out of the house of bondmen. When it says bondman, that just means you were a slave. And we know we were slaves in what? Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Know therefore that Yahweh Allahayam, he is Allahayam, the faithful Allahayam, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations.
You know, it was just then.
To 1,000 generations.
It was only the covenant is done away with. That's an old covenant that was, you know, it was nailed to the cross, right? But it says 1,000 generations, right? To them that love him and keep his commandments. So those people of today, of 2025, that say that they love him but do not keep his commandments, this doesn't apply to them. This does not apply to you if you say you love him and do not keep his commandments. This doesn't apply to you. Anything that you're doing in ignorance, I understand. If you're doing it in ignorance and you don't know, that's something different. But anything that you know that you should be doing, like you have people that know that you tell, don't eat pork. And they say, okay, but when nobody's looking, they go ahead and eat pork. You know, somebody offer them a slice of pizza with pepperoni on it, right? And because no other Israelite is around, a nobody that holds that moral standard is around, you go ahead and eat that slice of pizza with the pepperoni pork on it, right? And then you say, won't nobody know because nobody's seen you. The Most High seen you. He's seen you. And that's this is why this is not for you. We spoke about it earlier. What is it called? Integrity. Oh, we got two hands raised. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say,
You're going to have to speak up, though, so they can hear you.
I was going to say to be mindful when you go out to eat, go out to eat, about the refried beans having pork.
Oh, she said, for those who couldn't hear, be mindful when you go out to eat and things like that of the refried beans, because they use they have pork in them because they use the what? Fat or something?
The lard.
The lard. The water. Yeah, they use the lard. So for those who didn't know, be cautious on that. And I love refried beans, but when we get them, we get the vegetarian kind because they don't use the lard in it. You know, if you get the traditional one or any other type of one, they will have that pork in it. It's good to start reading the labels. You know, like the ox sent me something the other day that I said I ate, and I didn't know that was in there. So it's good to start reading the labels of the foods that you eat, that you take in and put inside your body, right? That was a good comment. Verse 10.
Verse 10. And repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. Thou shalt therefore, Salakia, keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments, which I command thee this day to do them.
So we were commanded to keep the law, statutes, and judgments, right? We were commanded to do that. And this is the Torah, right? This is the lamp that he says that we need. This is where you can get all of your information from to know how you need to walk on this planet Earth. So when he said thy word is a lamp to the feet, this is the word right here. This is where all the commandments lie, right? Thou shalt not. So this is where everything lies at right here. Let's jump over to Amos real quick, chapter 3. We just gonna read 1 and 2. Amos chapter 3, verses 1 and 2.
The book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
So we keep seeing this time and time again throughout the whole Bible, that where it keeps talking about this family, this people that he has brought up out of Egypt, that he keeps referring to, his chosen people. He lets you know out of all the families of the earth, right? So you can't say, oh, he's only talking about, no, he says all the families of the earth. He says, I have only known you, meaning I'm only dealing with you. This is who I'm dealing with, right? My word and everything that I give is going to come through you. Does that mean he did he deal with other people? Of course. When we pulled Isaiah 45, he dealt with Cyrus to what? Relinquish his people or release his people and send them back to build the temple. So yes, in some instances, he does use other nation of people, right? But it is for his people's benefit, even when he uses those other nations of people, right? It was the benefit, what? His people, because they were in servitude, they were in slavery, to be released, to go back home, to build the temple again for him, right? This is where you get Ezra and Nehemiah and all of those other different priests and prophets. And when you read those things, you see and understand that Ezra and Nehemiah, Ezra was pulling his hair out, ripping his clothes because of the sin that the people of Israel were committing, how far they had fallen from the word of the Most High. Nehemiah too. He was ready to, he had to stand out there and beat people up, that they stopped what? Bringing stuff in and selling stuff on the Sabbath day, right? So it was, these men had to go to the extreme for the word of the Most High and stand up for the word of the Most High. So clearly he's speaking about a family, a nation of people, right? So we can't get away from that. We could go to it. We'll go to it. Then we'll go to the New Testament. This will be the last one. Then we'll go all in the New Testament for you guys that, you know, like, oh, he's only bringing Old Testament. Let me stop sharing my screen and we'll go to the book of Baruch. Audio and video is good. Khan. Let me see. Khan. Mayan. Napashya. And then it says good. And listen, all those for tuning in, is tuning in, the water for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And once again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you tune in later, at a later time, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and share button, right? And hopefully this is edifying to build you up. Let me share my screen and go to Baruch. We're going to start at the top and then we'll jump down. For those who have never read the book of Baruch, I would encourage you to read it. You have to get you a 1611 King James edition Bible. If you don't have one, let us know. We'll get you one. But you need to get you one. We're going to be in a Baruch chapter 2. The book of Baruch chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 1 and then we're going to jump down a little bit.
The book of Baruch chapter 2 verse 1. Therefore Yahweh had made good his word, which he pronounced against us, and against our judges that judged Israel, and against our kings, and against our prince, and against the men of Israel and Judah, to bring upon us great plagues, such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses. that a man shall eat the flesh of his own son, and the flesh of his own daughter. Verse 4. Moreover, he hath delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us, to be as a reproach and desolation among all the people round about, where Yahweh has scattered them.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 5. Thus we were cast down and not exalted, because we have sinned against Yahweh our Ahchyam, and have not been obedient unto his voice.
Salakia, we have not been obedient to the Most High Yahweh's voice. So Baruch, which is Jeremiah's scribe, he's going in detail, letting us know why we are in the situations that we are in, even then and even till today. Because no matter, nobody wants to obey the Most High Yahweh. Even in the book of Samuel, when Saul was saying he did obey the Most High, but he took sacrifices to, he took some stuff to sacrifice to the Most High. And Samuel told Saul, is it better to sacrifice or is it better to be obedient? The Most High would rather have obedience than that sacrifice, right? So be obedient. He would rather have your obedience than the sacrifice. And that's for all of us, that's for all of us. We have to steady think in our mind to be obedient to our Father. Go ahead, verse 6.
Verse 6. To Yahweh our Ahchyam appertaineth righteousness.
Uh-huh.
But unto us and to our fathers open shame, as appeareth this day. For all these plagues come upon us, which Yahweh hath pronounced against us.
Mm-hmm.
Yet have we not prayed before Yahweh, that we might turn every one from the imaginations of his wicked heart.
People do not pray today. For what? To turn from their imagination, to turn from their wickedness. Why does it say from there or from the imaginations of the wicked heart? Because these things produce in your own body, in your own mind. I was just talking about this the other night. Like, why do these things pop up in your mind? Images are just things that you just, your brain or your body wants to do. And it's because, our body is at war against the flesh, right? And you have to continually overcome your body and stay in the spirit, because the flesh wants to win. It wants to be on top, that wicked heart. That's why it says in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, the heart is deceitfully wicked. By all means, is deceitfully wicked. So if we listen to our heart, it will lead us astray. We have to listen to the word that the Most High has given us, right? Verse 9.
Verse 9. Wherefore Yahweh watched over us for evil, and Yahweh hath brought it upon us. For Yahweh is righteous in all his works, which he hath commanded us.
And we'll stop here at 10 and then move on to 29, but you can read 10.
Verse 10. Yet we have not hearkened unto his voice, to walk in the commandments of Yahweh, that he hath set before us.
And that's the problem. Hearken means to listen. We have not listened, and we are listening to what man is telling us instead of what our Creator is telling us, right? Why would he give us something and then tell us that we don't have to do it or we don't have to live by it when he lives forever, from everlasting to everlasting? Now, when Paul said, I'm not even going to get into that really, but when Paul says we're not under the law, the only reason Paul says that you're not under the law is because if you're living in righteousness and walking in the spirit already, you're not under the law, because you won't be doing the things to break the law. So how can you be under something when you're not doing anything wrong? It doesn't pertain to you because you're not doing anything wrong. But people have, as Peter said, take it and twisted his word because they lack the understanding. We'll jump down to verse 29. And we'll read that to the end, 29 on down.
Verse 29. If you will not hear my voice, surely this great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and shall know that I am Yahweh, their Elohim. For I will give them an heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and return from their stiff neck, and from their wicked deeds. For they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before Yahweh. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their Elohim. And they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people out of Israel, out of the land that I have given them.
So that will be the kingdom, what he's talking about, right? But the reason we read this is to let it be known that he says, you will remember me in the land of your captivity. Wherever you at in the four corners of the earth, and you have been brought there initially as a captive, he says, you will remember me. You will start to have that memory to remember him and serve him, right? And turn back and remember the sins that our forefathers did in the wilderness, right? And even after the wilderness. And we will start to serve the Most High of who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he's going to have that what? And give us that what? Everlasting covenant and put us back in the land again, right? So hopefully with that, like I say, is edifying for you. We're going to go into the New Testament now. The book of Ephesians. We'll run to the book of Ephesians. Let me see. Is it sharing? No, let me make sure it's shared. Ephesians, and we'll start at 1 and 1. We'll go here. The book of Ephesians in the New Testament. Chapter 1, verse 1, and we'll read on down. Chapter 1, verse 1, right? And the title of it says what? The blessings of the redemption, right? Ephesians chapter 1, verse 1, right?
The book of Ephesians, chapter 1, verse 1.
Con.
Paul, an apostle of Yahawashi HaMashiach, by the will of the Most High, to the saints which are at Ephesus, to the faithful in Hamashiach Yahawashi.
Mm-hmm.
Grace be to you, and peace from Elohim our Father, from the Master Yahawashi HaMashiach.
So people in the church, just to clear this up, they always say it's a Trinity. It's this, it's that. They're one. Well, Paul shows you right here that there's not one. He says, grace be to you, right? And peace, right? From who? The Most High, our Father. And so he's a separation, and from our Master, Yahawashi HaMashiach. Separation. One is the Father, and one is our Master, which is his Son, and he's our Master, right? But Yahawashi has a Master, which is who? The Father. So, like, I just wanted to say that, verse 3.
Con. And if you look on the background of the image behind me, is Proverbs 30 and 4, clearly puts them in two different sections, the Father and the Son. I just thought I'd add that in there. Verse 3. Blessed be the Most High and Father of our Master, Yahawashi HaMashiach, who have blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Hamashiach.
Mm-hmm. Who blessed us? Who blessed us? Who blessed us?
The Most High.
The Most High. He blessed us. But see, people always, not that I'm taking anything away from Hamashiach Yahawashi, because believe me, he was sent by the Father. But the Father instituted all of this. And we were blessed by the Father. So it says, Paul is letting us know, blessed be the Most High, and Father of who? Our Master, Yahawashi HaMashiach, who has what? Blessed us with all spiritual blessings. Through who? Hamashiach. This is why in Corinthians 11, it lets us know that our head is who? Hamashiach. And then after that, Hamashiach heads is who? The Father. So it has to go in a certain order. Salaki about that though. Verse 4.
Verse 4. According as he have chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love.
So Paul, who people love, he's speaking and saying the same words that were spoken in the Old Testament. He's saying that they were chosen before the foundation of the world. These elect, right? They were chosen before the foundation of the world, that they will be what? Holy and without blame before him in love. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahawaah HaMashiach to himself,
Brother.
according to the good pleasure of his will.
Predestinated. What does that mean? Can anybody look up that word predestinated? Or if you just know, just tell me. It was destined to happen before what? You knew. It was destined to happen before you knew, before you were born. Predestined. Yeah, predestined. Predes. Okay. We in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 5. The definition in the Bible and in the dictionary says determined by will. By what? Determined in advance, Salakia. By divine will or faith. So this was already destined to happen. Why? Because you are the elect. There's the only reason that me, Yahawaah, and my brother, Philip, and his family, and my family, and anybody else that may be tuning in and watching this, the only reason why you have tuned in, the only reason why you're here and watching this is because you were destined to do so. We were destined to be here to go over the words of the Most High. That's why he put us here on this earth. To what? Give him the service, his servitude, because we are children of who? Jacob. And we believe on the Most High of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his only begotten son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, who the world calls Christ. And Paul is letting us know that we have been what? Predestined to do this. We have been predestined. Continue on, verse 6.
Verse 6. To the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he hath made us accepted in the beloved, in whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, according to the riches of his grace.
In whom we have redemption. We have redemption in his blood. The forgiveness of what? Sins. According to the riches of his grace. That right there is so prophetic because we are being redeemed through our brother's blood. The blood that he shed for us when he had no sin. And he made it a way for the Father that he can forgive us of our sins because the blood of Hamashiach Yahawashi was so pure and so righteous. This is why he gave him a reward for that body. That body that he received was a reward. Why was it a reward? Because the body that he had and the spirit that entered that body, he didn't defile the very spirit that was in the body. He never defiled that rakah. Some people call it the Ruach HaKodesh. Other people say the Holy Spirit. In the Paleo, we say the Rakah Kodash, right? But that Holy Spirit, it was never defiled that was in Hamashiach, that was in Christ. So the Father gave him a reward, in which is that body resurrected after death. Why? Because he never defiled the body while he was on earth. So that's a reward. This is why it goes on later on in the scriptures to say that we will be brothers or children of his, and we'll be something like a first fruit. because he gives you that spirit. And once he comes to you and he releases that spirit into you, and he tells you, go and sin no more, to turn from your unrighteousness and produce what? Fruit now. That you too may be resurrected and get the reward of that body and of that crown. That's what he's talking about. Sorry to go off, but hopefully you understand where I'm coming from, that he never defiled the very spirit that was in that body from day one. And that's why he is that chosen one. That's why he is Hamashiach Yahawashi, because he never defiled the body here on earth. We have defiled the body here on earth. But he has given us a chance to be able, as it says right here in verse 7, to forgive us of our sins, according of the riches of his grace, that we can be cleansed from those sins and receive the reward still. You still have a chance to receive the reward even after you have sinned, because we have forgiveness of sins. All praises be to the Father for that. Man,
All praises.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, verse 8.
Verse 8, wherein he have abounded toward us in all wisdom and prudence, having made known unto us the mystery of his will, according to his good pleasure, which he hath purposed in himself.
And I just broke down the mystery of it all, the will of it, the mystery of how we going back, and how we could get the reward too. You know, how we can. This is why he told Nicodemus in John 3, you must be born again. From everything that I just said prior about him not defiling the body while he was here on earth, and not defiling the spirit, because that's what it's really about. It's really about defiling the spirit. This is why you get judged, because the Most High is upset with you, because he gave you his spirit, which was upright, which was righteous. And he put life into you and gave it to you. And then you came here on earth and defiled the very spirit that is of him, which is righteous, in that body, in the vessel that he gave you. You let your body control you. You let your body overrule the water, both of you. You let your body overtake and overrule you, and not the spirit that gave you, when the spirit is more powerful than the very body. And he's upset with you because he gave you the spirit, and the spirit is of him, which ruleth everything. But you wanted to be of the flesh of Satan of this world, and you let your body rule you. So now he's going to put you in subjection. He's going to put you in judgment, and you are going to have to deal with that on the day of judgment, right? But you can bypass all that by repenting of your sins, asking for forgiveness, and turn from your wickedness in the way that you used to live. And I'm not talking about the wickedness of what men say. I'm talking about the wickedness of what the Bible say, what the words say. Not traditions of man, but what the Most High say, what is yea or what is nay. So the mystery has been made known to us according to his good pleasure, which he has what? What did he do? The last little bit. Anybody?
Oh.
What'd he say?
Can you read it?
Go ahead.
Which he hath purposed in himself.
He hath purposed in himself. Go ahead. Verse 10.
If I may just add, that was very powerful what you just brought out. If I could give an example, essentially, it's like being given, I don't know, this is an example I can give, like be given a Fortune 500 company from your father or your dad, right? And you just bypassing all that and just running it to the ground, watching it lose its value, and then your father taking it back from you because you didn't know how to run it. You just didn't see any value in it. And at that point, you're basically out of running something that was so powerful or so wealthy, and you just cast it away, and he took it away from you, right? That's on a smaller scale, in a carnal sense.
God. And people need to look at it in that way and in that fashion, any way that you can, to have the understanding that it's the spirit That's another one of my favorite verses. It's the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh doesn't profit you anything. And that's what we fail to realize. And notice I said we, because I never want nobody to think that I'm greater than anybody else out there. You get what I'm saying? I'm in the flesh just like you in the flesh. But the difference is that one may be fighting and the other one may not be fighting. You have people that are in the game, and then you have people, for what the metaphor that I'm giving, you have people that sit on the bench.
Bench warmers.
Bench warmers. They dressed up. They come to practice, but they never enter the game, meaning they never do what? They never really do the will of the Most High. They look the part, but they never put the work in. Then you have people that enter the game. Some of them never come out the game, no matter how tired they are. So it's just about, that's why I say make sure your election is true. Make sure your calling is true. Make sure you give it all you got. And that's for all of us, even for myself as I'm speaking through the Spirit, because even though I say things, it be the Spirit speaking to me also, because this is the Spirit of the Most High. So I can go back and I can reflect on that and be like, man, thank you, the Most High. Thank you, Yahweh. I needed to hear that out of my own mouth through the Spirit that you revealed to me. You know, it's a sad thing when men exalt themselves, but it's a beautiful thing when the Most High exalt a man. It's a difference. It's a total difference. It's a total difference. So if you don't have anything else, we'll go to verse 10.
Verse 10. That in the dispensation of the fullness of times, he might gather together in one all things in Hamashiach, both which are in heaven and which are on the earth, even in him, in whom also we have obtained the inheritance, being predestinated according to the purpose of him, who worketh all things after the counsel of his own will.
After the counsel of his own will. Once again, that word predestined, according to what? A purpose. So you, like I say, and the other brother that's on here, and everybody else that is receiving this word were predestined to hear this word. It was predestined for his purpose, for you to hear this, right? So that was the book of Ephesians from 1 to 11. We're going to jump to a little bit more, and then, you know, we're going to slow it down some. I want to go to the book of John, and we can go to so many things. But I'm going to go to John 15 and start at 13 on down. And then we'll run over to Paul. This is the book of John. Let me pull it up. It's sharing on the screen, correct, Con? Okay. John 15. And I wanted to start at 13, but can we read 3 real quick?
The book of John, chapter 15, verse 3.
Con.
Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you.
So we need the word to be clean. Because like I just explained to you, the body that we're in, we have defiled the very spirit. It's not so much the body that we worried about. What he's speaking about, you are clean now in the spirit. This is why he said, go and clean, go and sin no more. Right? Because the body can never be fully all the way clean, but the spirit can. Because the Most High is going to forgive you in the spirit. And this is why he says, now you are clean through what? The word. The word is who? The word comes from the Most High. And we call the word who? Hamashiach Yahawaah, because he brought forth the word of the Most High. That he has spoken unto who? Us. So it's the very word that cleanses us. Why? Because when you hear that word, and as we said, let the spirit bear witness, you turn from your wickedness. You become a different person. Now, once again, the whole thing about being born again, you're not the same individual as you were before you had the word. You're not the same individual. Now that you have the word, you have turned to somebody else. And how do you notice when people start to say, you a Bible thumper, or you stop getting invited to things, or you always want to talk about the word, or you're not how you used to be, or you don't run, as Peter said, as you used to, and do the things that you used to do. Why? Because you have been cleansed through the very word of the Most High, right? Read 4 and then we'll jump down.
Verse 4. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me.
So we have to abide. We have to in Hamashiach Yahawashi. We have to. He is the way that you will be cleansed to be even able to deal with the Father. It's kind of like one of those things, like you broke it down on a fleshly term. For the Father, say you have a father that's very well known, very established, a man that's very well off. For you to even get an interview, for him to even know who you are, you have to know his son, and his son has to bring you to him. Otherwise, you will never get invited because you're nobody. But if you know his son may be able to say, hey, this is my brother Philip. Now that father knows your name, he knows your face, he knows who you are. So if he was to ever see you again, he has you in memory. But you would have never got that opportunity if you never knew his son. So this is why he said, abide in me. If you abide in me, then you may have access to the Father. You know, I hate to, man, it's the word, all praise to the Most High. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We're going to jump down, but keep going. Verse 5.
Verse 5.
Through the Spirit.
I am the vine. Ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, ye can do nothing.
Keep going.
If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered. And men gather them, and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If ye abide in me, my words abide in you. Ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, so shall ye be my disciples. As my Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love.
So where does it say that it was nailed to the cross? This is in the New Testament. Where does it say, why is your pastor not telling you about this part? Abide in him and keep the commandments. As he said right here, let me get it right here. I want to highlight it. I'm going to start from right there and I'm going to highlight it. He says, even as I have kept my Father's commandments. So if Hamashiach, Christ himself, had to keep the commandments, why don't you? Why don't you? I don't understand that. He had commandments he had to keep. And he said, as the Father loved me, so I love you. Continue in my love. Herein is my Father glorified. Meaning, if you want to know how to glorify the Father, you want to know how to glorify, people always talking about they giving praises. If you really want to know how to glorify the Father and bring forth much fruit, Salakia, bring forth much fruit, what did he say? Keep the commandments. That's how you glorify the Father, and that's how you bring forth much fruit. But when you have people that say the commandments are done away with, we don't need that no more. It's Old Testament. You can eat pork, crab, shrimp, lobster. You can get married. You can do this. You can divorce. You can all these things. You're not honoring the Father. You're not honoring the Father, and you're definitely not honoring Hamashiach Yahawashi that laid down his life for you. That's why I said, many shall say to me on that day, Master, Master. He gonna say, I don't know you. I never knew you. You know, I never knew you. Let's start at 12 and work our way down.
Book of John, chapter 15, verse 12. This is my commandment, that ye love one another, as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if you do whatsoever I command you.
So, Salaki, it got a stipulation on there. Yeah, you friends with Hamashiach, you friends with Christ, but only if you do what? What I command you. If you're not doing what he has commanded you to do, then you're not his friend. It's a stipulation. 15.
Verse 15. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit shall remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you.
Now, he's not talking about a Ferrari, okay? He's not talking about nothing fleshly or of this world. He's talking about spiritual stuff right here, right? And he goes in so deep right here in verse 15 and 16. He's letting you know that I don't call you servants, even though you are a servant, right? Because it says, we just read it earlier, Jacob, my servant, right? That's what the Father said, Jacob, my servant. But he goes in so deep right here. He letting you know how he even looks at you. I don't call you a servant, even though you are a servant. Because he say, why? For the servant don't know what his master doeth. Meaning, he lets us know as our master what he is doing. He's not hiding it from us. He's almost like this. Not almost, he is. He's stepping down from his power of authority and humbling himself to be brothers amongst us. So, like he said, we are friends. We are brothers. Don't look at me as your master, even though I am, but look at me as your brother. Humbling himself, which is telling us what? To humble ourselves. Because he has everything that the Father told him. He said, everything I heard the Father, I made known unto you. He didn't hold anything back. He didn't say, oh, I'm going to just give them this because they can't handle that like men do today. Or I'm not going to teach that because they can't handle it. Who are you to say what people can handle? Because our brother, Hamashiach, said everything that he heard the Father, he revealed to us. And this is why he called us brothers. This is why he called us friends. Then in verse 16, he exhorts himself again to let you know, even though I'm your friend, even though I'm your brother, he lets you know that what? You have not chosen me. Don't get it in your mind, in the concept in your mind that you think that you came to Christ. Like most people say, when I came, you didn't come. You didn't do nothing. He put the desire in you to come. Now, sometimes we say that unknowingly. I have said it unknowingly because I didn't understand that the calling was placed inside of me before the foundations of the earth, predestined. But that desire was already put in me to drive me to come to what? Or draw me, as it says in John 6:44, to what? The word, to Hamashiach Yahawaah. He says, but I have chosen you and ordained you. So when somebody say, who are you? Who gives you, who, Salakia, who and what gives you the right to go out and preach? I get excited. I got to slow down. You know, who gives you the right to go out and preach? Who taught you? You know, people like to ask you. You know who taught me? Hamashiach Yahawaah, through his spirit that he sent, the Kodash, Rakah, or the Rakah Kodash, however you want to say it, the Holy Spirit. That's who taught me. I wouldn't be where I am if it was not for him. And he has ordained me, if you want to know. He did it before you were born, before I was born. That you should do what? Bring forth fruit. And that's what we bringing forth today, right now. If you can't see that, then you more in darkness than I think you are or know that you are. We are bringing forth fruit right now and have been bringing forth fruit, me and my brother, constantly. I mean, we shooting out every day. Every Sabbath we shooting out. Whether on the streets, whether on the live, we are bringing forth that word heavy, like a hammer, like the Bible says you should, like an axe, laying it. So we bringing forth fruit, and that your fruit should what? Remain. That's what it said. Let me highlight that part where it says remain. That your fruit should remain. That whatsoever you shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you, right? And I ain't talking about asking for nothing like I say, no cars and jewelry and houses and all that. I'm talking about more. Give me more faith, huh? As the apostles asked for it. Show me how to walk more in righteousness. Elevate my spirit. Elevate my understanding. Show me how to love more. Show me how to be more in tune with my spirit as I'm here in this body and this flesh, and we at the war. Show me how to war more greatly against the flesh. That's what he's talking about. He ain't talking about a brand new car. Now, if you get those things, all praises. All praises. You praise the Most High. Say, thank you for allowing me to get that. You know? But he ain't talking about you going up to the liquor store and you want to play $2 on the lottery number and then you praying that you hit. That's not what it's talking about. That's not what it's talking about. These things I command you, that you love one another. And that's what we need. We need more love. And I'm working on mine. My heart was cold, you know, and I'm working on my love. And, you know, everybody out there that do know me, just know that I'm continually working on it, you know. But I love you, and I hope you love me back, you know, because that's what he says. These things I command you, that you love one another, you know. So that is a commandment that we have and we must love one another, right? Let's get a couple more before we close out. Let's go to Romans chapter 8. Now, unless you got something, before we jump.
John, Romans 8.
Romans 8. It's so much meat in there too, but you know, let me check the chat because I'll be just going and going. Okay, con, big con, Mayan Napashya, and then we got Call Yahawah. Okay, con. I just want to make sure I check the chat. Anybody out there that's in the chat or anybody that just may be tuning in, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. The water for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button, right? Who? Oh, DJ in there, all praises. The water for tuning in, DJ. Right? We're going to go. I like this, Romans 8. And I'm going to read verses 1. Well, you can read it 1 to 3, right? And then we're going to jump down to 26. Shalawam, Brother Timothy in there. Praises. Shalawam, Brother Timothy. Just tuning in, just came from the Sabbath class. Con, look, he jumped from one class to another class. All praises.
All praises.
That's through the Spirit. Shalom, Brother Timothy. Shabbat Shalom, all praises, right? Let's go to Romans 8, chapter 1. 8, verse 1, and then we'll read from 1 to 3, and then we'll jump down to what I really want, 26.
Con. The book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 1. This is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahawah, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
So he's telling us right here, says deliverance from bondage. There is therefore no judgment, condemnation to them which are in who? Hamashiach Yahawah. There's no judgment to you no more. Who walk not, here's the stipulation, who walk not after the flesh. So you don't have to worry about judgment no more if you're not walking after the flesh anymore. If you're not doing the things of the flesh. And Paul says, but after the Spirit. Because if you're walking in the Spirit, then you're not under the law. Why? Because you're not doing anything to break the law. So then you wouldn't be under it. But if you're walking in the flesh, then you would be doing things that were contrary to the law. So then you would be breaking the law and you would be under our subjection or subject to the law. Right? Verse 2.
Verse 2. For the law of the Spirit of life in Hamashiach Yahawashi had made me free from the law of sin and death.
That's what Hamashiach Yahawashi gives us, right? That we're free now. See, before we wasn't free. We wasn't free. But now through Hamashiach Yahawashi, we have been made free, as he says. So we need Hamashiach Yahawashi to be freed from that bondage of what? Sin and the law and the judgment. Verse 3.
Verse 3. For what the law cannot do, in that it was weak through the flesh, Allah Hayam sending his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh.
Keep going on.
That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
Notice what he said in verse 4, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us. So how can a Christian or a believer in Christ say that the law is done away with when Paul is saying that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but in the Spirit? Because when you walk in the Spirit, you are not doing things that are contrary or breaking the law, because you walking in the Spirit, which is to walk in what? Righteousness. Verse 5.
Verse 5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh. But they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit.
Salaki, this is where the same thing, John 3, being born again. Same thing Hamashiach told Nicodemus in John chapter 3. Those that are born of the flesh are flesh, and those that are born of the Spirit are spirit. The things that I'm telling to you, how come you cannot understand? He couldn't understand because he was still in that fleshly state of mind. He wasn't walking in spiritual state. Paul is saying the same thing. So if you mind the things of the flesh, you're going to do the things of your flesh. And the flesh is calling every day. It's like one of them collectors. You know, they just keep calling all time of the day, all time of the night, just showing up, popping up. They don't stop. But you got to rule over that and let the Spirit rule. Verse 6.
Verse 6. For to be carnally minded is death.
Is what?
Is death. But to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
Woo! Go ahead.
Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High.
Hatred against the Most High. Go ahead.
For it is not subject to the law of the Most High.
It is not what?
It is not subject to the law of the Most High.
Meaning it cannot be under subjection to what? The law that the Most High has given us. Why? Because it's contrary to what? Your flesh is not going to bow down. It is not going to do what the Most High wants it to do. How do we know that? Because the very next thing it says is what? Neither indeed can it be. It can't do it. It just can't do it. Verse 8.
Verse 8. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High.
I mean, come on, man. You got to understand what Paul is really saying. If you in the flesh, you cannot please the Most High. You never can, and you never will. You never will until you walk in the Spirit. And listen, this lesson is for the elect. If you have been called, many are called, but few are chosen. And I want you to make sure that you are chosen, not just called, but are chosen, the elect. Make sure your election is what? True. Run the race to what? Win. Like Paul said in 1 Corinthians 9, he doesn't know anybody who enters a race to come in last place. Right? That's 1 Corinthians chapter 9. I think it's like 20 something on down to the end. Verse 9.
Verse 9. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit. If so be that the Spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the Spirit of Hamashiach, he is none of his.
And this is what you have to understand. Listen to what the words that he's saying. If you have the Spirit, right, you cannot or should not be in the flesh, and that's the war that's going on, right? Because the Spirit is waging war against the flesh now, right? And now we in the Spirit, because the Spirit of the Most High is dwelling in you. This is the war that's going on. The Most High don't awaken that light, awaken that spirit that's in you that was predestined to put that desire in you, to put that draw in you. And now it's awakened. And now you're going to war against the very flesh. But it says right here, Paul says, now, if any man have not the Rakah or the Spirit of Hamashiach, he is none of his. So when you have some people who don't know or are not going through that fight of the flesh, between that war, and they just feel numb and they don't really feel nothing. They don't feel that spirit in them. Either the spirit hasn't been awakened inside you yet, or you're just not part of the elect. I'm not making that determination, but I'm only telling you through the spirit what Paul is saying. If you don't have no feeling of the spirit in you to want to walk in some righteousness, to want to walk in righteousness, to want to serve the Most High, the Creator, your Maker, as we started this lesson off, all the way back in Isaiah 45, when he said, when he made the comment, what does the clay have to say to his Maker? If you don't have that, then Paul says that Hamashiach is not in you, right? Verse 10.
Verse 10. And if Hamashiach be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the spirit of life is because of righteousness.
See? The body is what? Dead. And you have to put to death those things of the body, the flesh. They're going to continue to pop up. But one thing that I'm learning is you got to treat them like them dudes when you was in the world on the streets. As soon as it pop up, you got to put them down. You know, for me, in my area where I grew up in, you know, when you had a problem with somebody, we used to call it on sight. There was no talking. There was none of that. When they hit the corner or they jumped out, it was on sight. And if you wanted to talk and go back and forth, the other people, they say, oh, he's a punk, or oh, he's this, or he's that, because you didn't do it on sight. It seemed like you was trying to get out of it. And see, what we have to do with that flesh is we have to put it to death. When that thought pop up, you need to pull it, take it down, and pop it. Or put a hammer to it, bust it up, do whatever you need to do. And that's what I'm learning, that the Most High through the Spirit is showing me, you know, because the Most High through the Spirit and through Hamashiach Yahushua, he don't take away all things, because even Paul prayed to the Most High and said, take this thing away. And he said, my grace is sufficient. Right, to continue to keep us humble, because if he took everything away and you didn't have nothing to worry about, then you may think, you know it all, you got it all, you don't need nothing, you know, and then you don't need the Most High, and then you start falling away and you fall astray because you think you know it all now, you got it all. I want to jump down. I want to stop right there, and I want to go down because, you know, like I say, I wasn't even supposed to read that, but I want to go down to 16, and then we'll jump to 26. Because I've been saying this all day, and I just want to read it so people know where it is in Romans 8 and 16.
Book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit. That we are the children of the Most High. And
that's the important part. Does your spirit, does your Rakah bear witness with our spirit, he's saying, with the righteousness that you are a child of the Most High? And that's what you have to ask yourself. Be honest with yourself. Because if it doesn't bear witness, then you're wasting your time. Or it just hasn't been enlightening yet through the Spirit, through the Most High. But like I say, if you're watching this and you tuned into this and you are inquiring about this, then of course your spirit has to be bearing witness. It has to be. It has to be. Because no man can come unless the Father has drawn you. So it has to be bearing witness if you watching this, right? Let's jump down to verse 26. Let me check the chat because I know how sometime I go off. The brother Timothy says Shalawam. Let me see who we got. Mayan, call Allah Yahweh Shabbat Shalawam. Shalawam, brother Timothy Khan. Thank you, Jenny Wood, brother Timothy Khan. Big Khan, Mayan Napashia Khan. Brother Timothy, once again, I'm one on that. All praises to the Most High on that one right there. Yeah, thank you. The water, brother Timothy. You know, the water for that. And the water for everybody that tune in. DJ, brother Timothy, Jenny Wood, Mayan Napashia, right? And brother Philip and his family who was ever tuning in. The water to all tuning in. Shalom and peace and blessings on this beautiful Shabbat day, right? Hopefully this is an edifying message to build our brothers and sisters up. So as I said, we in Romans and we're going to jump down to verse 26. 26.
Verse 26.
Con.
Likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought. But the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered.
Infirmities, if you don't know, is weaknesses. So the Spirit, the Rakah, it helps us with the very weakness of our flesh. This is why we need to stay in the Spirit, walk in the Spirit. Always be thinking about what? The Spirit, because it can help you with your weakness, which refers back to what? 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. There have no temptation taking you that is what? Common to man, right? Go back and read that for yourself if you need to. Once again, 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. Verse 27,
Verse 27. And he that searcheth the hearts knoweth what is in the mind of the Spirit. Because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of the Most High.
Now, once again, who is it speaking about? The one that searches the hearts knoweth the mind of what? The Spirit. Well, of course he know the mind of the Spirit because it's his Spirit. He put the Spirit in there, right? So he know what the Spirit is going to is asking for, is petitioning for from the Most High. It's not talking about you getting on your knees and saying what it is that you saying. Okay, that's a fleshly thing. He's saying that the Spirit, listen to what he's saying. The Spirit is praying and petitioning to the Most High through what it says right here, through groaning. Let me click on this word. Hold on, I want to click on that word, groaning. You got a comment? Go ahead while I'm bringing this out. Go ahead.
To say that sometimes when a person, well, I'll use myself as an example, but sometimes when I go through things and it's either real sad or I'm feeling real emotional, sometimes I don't know what to say. But my spirit, it kind of like in my mind, it's like I start to try to pray. But my thoughts, but
it just start to say stuff.
It'll just start saying it on its own because I'm so emotional or distraught, and that's when I feel like the Most High comforts me.
And that's just what it said right here: a groaning, a sigh, right? That's just what it's going into. Let me click this one and see what it says. A sigh, to groan, to murmur, to pray. With grief, groan, just what you said, like you was going through something happened, and you know you wanted to say something, you wanted to kind of go out and start to pray, but didn't know what to say, and then in your mind it just kind of, well, that's the Spirit. That's what it's letting you know, that the Spirit itself. Let me highlight that the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us. So the very Spirit of the Most High that's within your body that I broke down earlier is actually praying. It's actually what? Making a petition to the Most High for you without you even knowing what's going on. You don't even know what's going on. But the Spirit is talking and dealing with the Most High to let you know the interaction that the Spirit and the Most High have together. And you in the body and don't even know what's going on.
Salakia.
Man, go ahead,
That sounds like self-healing.
Bring it out.
No, that's exactly what it sounds like. I mean, it sounds like The spirit itself is essentially doing what they would call what? Self-healing.
God.
You don't even know about it.
You don't even know about it. You in the body. Right there, going through whatever it is that you're going through, and your spirit is stepping in for you, and yet you don't even know about it. You don't even realize it. That's how powerful the spirit is. And what Paul is saying, stop giving your flesh the power when it's truly the spirit that really where the power lies, through the Most High. That's what he's letting you know. This is what I'm saying. Paul was deep. He was deep. Verse 27. I read that from the top again.
Verse 27. And he that searcheth the hearts knoweth what is in the mind of the Spirit. Because he maketh intercession for the saints, according to the will of the Most High.
He letting you know again, reiterating that, but taking it even to a deeper level. Because he maketh intercession to who? The saints. The called out assembly. The holy ones. That's what saints are. The ones that are who? Set apart. Sanctified. You know, all these terms that they use. Those are what saints are. That's what they are. Those are just people that are set apart in the earth and have set apart themselves for who? The will and to live for the Most High and his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, in righteousness and in holiness. That's what a saint is. That's what he is, or she is. Verse 28.
Verse 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High. To them who are called according to his purpose.
According to what?
According to his purpose.
That was his whole lesson. As we winding down, we getting ready to wind down. As we winding it down, the whole thing of this lesson was what? Election. The elect. It's all about the who? The Most High's purpose. This is what we have to realize. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love who? The Most High. You have to love him. For what? His purpose. Verse 29,
Verse 29. From whom did he foreknow? He also did predestinate. I forget the word.
Predestinate. You got it. Predestinate.
To be conformed to the image of his son. That he might be the firstborn among many brethren.
Now, what does that mean? Let's break that down, Because it's a lot there. Some people might say it's a little, but it's a lot. From whom he did foreknow. Right? So he already knew what was going to happen, what's going to take place before it happened. He also predestinated. We already went to the definition of that, right? And broke that down. To be conformed. Listen, to be conformed. So you have to be conformed. Something has to change here. This is what it's talking about. These people that are in the earth that finally get enlightened, as we say in our community, they get the truth. Why? Because it was promised to them from the oath of the Most High that we read in Baruch, that you will start to remember me, right? In the land of your captivity. And then you will remember your forefathers and what they did. And then you will start to serve me. I will give you ears to hear and a heart to hear. And you will start to serve me and praise me in the land of your captivity. Well, Paul is writing the same thing right here. To be conformed, so you will start to conform, right? You won't be that same man. You will become that new man that Yahawashi spoke about in John 3, being born again. Because you can't remain that same man or that old fleshly man. You have to be conformed to the new spiritual man, to what? The image of his son. His son walked in righteousness. He never sinned. He never devoured the very spirit or the body. So he walked in complete what? Righteousness and holiness. And now you will be conformed to that image. That you, brethren, Ahchyam, Ahchwathyam, sisters, that he might be the firstborn of many what? Brothers. That's why I call Hamashiach Yahawashi my brother, because we are brethren. He is the first one. He is the firstborn of the resurrected. He is the first one to have that type of body. Why? Because he went through that and he received his reward from the Most High, because he walked the earth and did not see it. Now he has given it to us that we may be able to be what? Forgiven of our sins, relinquish that, start over, be born again, and then walk in what? Righteousness. And then still receive the crown, because that old man is put away. He's already dead. But now he has been given a second chance to be renewed in the spirit and walk in what? Righteousness, and our sins be forgiven while we still here alive on earth. Look at how he's working so fast for us, that we may be able to receive the reward by the time we die here on earth and still be resurrected with him and make it into the kingdom. That's fast. That's fast. He didn't even have to do it like that, but he's working on us now so we can receive it now and then be risen with him and receive the reward. All praises to the Most High, man. That's deep right there. That's why I say it's a lot. You know, if you don't look at it, you might think it's a little, but it's a lot. And you will be conformed to the image of his son to walk in righteousness. That's why he said, if you love me, keep my commandments. Because if you love me, then you'll keep my commandments and you'll walk as I walk. That's where they get the word Christian from, to be and walk as what? Christ. But yet Christians say that the commandments are done away with. So they're not really Christians. They're really what? Antichrist.
Bring it out.
That's what they really are. They're Antichrist. A person that calls themselves an actual Christian and does not walk in the commandments, they're really Antichrist. And they're against the Most High. That's what they are. You got a question? Go ahead. I didn't see it. Let me go to the chat. Say, let's see. We got a comment. Brother Timothy said, Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, verse 11. I want to just point out, it's a journey in this. Walk not.
It's a journey in this walk.
Salaki, it's a journey in this walk, not a sprint to finish the line. So have patience with yourself. Yeah, I'll be ahead of myself. I'll be having to slow down. That's my thing. That's one thing I got to learn through the spirit is, as he say, not a sprint, even when you're talking and delivering the message, because all these things be in my mind and it's like 100,000 things and I'll be wanting to get it out, but my mouth don't move as fast as my brain. But yeah, the water. All praises be to that. Let's get that real quick before we jump back to Romans 8 to get ready to close out. Let's go to that. Let me stop sharing that. You said Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, verse 1. I want to get that. Let's read that real quick. And the water for that comment, Brother Timothy. That was good. Chapter 9. Hey, and chapter 9 is deep too. Chapter 9 got a lot of meat on that bone. Once again, this is the 1611 King James Bible. I always encourage you to get one. If you do not have one, please email us, contact us. You got the information going across the screen as we're speaking, and we will get you one to the best of our abilities, right? Ecclesiasticus 9. Hold on. You there, Op?
Khan.
He did say Ecclesiastic 9 and 1, right?
Isn't it 11?
9/11.
9:11. Salakia. Khan. There it is.
Oh, no, I don't think that's it.
Let me go back to the chat. Hold on.
You said 9/11.
Yeah, it's 9:11. Khan.
So
Yeah.
9/11?
Yeah, that whole chapter is fire. He said, yeah, that whole chapter is fire. Yeah, got a lot in that chapter. Yeah, but he said 9:11.
Khan. Verse 11. Envy not the glory of a sinner.
Khan.
For thou knowest not what shall be his end.
Uh-huh.
Delight not in the thing that the ungodly have pleasure in. But remember, they shall not go unpunished unto their grave.
Yeah, Khan, that was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful right there. Beautiful scripture. That goes into everything that we've been talking about today, that you have to be set apart, being the elect, being part of the election, right? The elect, the chosen. Envy not in the glory of those sinner people. It may look like they having fun, and it do. I ain't gonna lie. You know, sometimes you see them like Ezra said, man, how come they get all the money? How come they get to do this and get to do that? And, you know, in the book of Ezra, you know, they just to get to live good as a sinner. How come in the Malak told Ezra, you don't know the end of their judgment, though? It may look like they having a good time, but you don't know what's going to happen to them people at the end, right? That's why it says, remember in verse 12, that they shall not go unpunished unto their graves. You don't know what the end of those people going to be. You know, you see that man having a good time in his 20s or 30s or 40s. You don't know, he might be on the way home and get smashed by a diesel truck, right? And get burned alive in the car fire. You just don't know. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but we just don't know what the end. And then on top of that, he died in his sins. So he's still going to get cast into the lake of fire. Any more meat on that bone? We got 13.
Verse 13. Keep thee far from the man that hath power to kill.
Uh-huh.
So shalt thou not doubt the fear of death. And if thou come unto him, make no fault, lest he take away thy life presently. Remember that thou goest in the midst of snares, and that thou walkest upon the battlements of the city.
Calm. You have to remember that. This is a war zone. This is a war that we in when we walk out. Sometimes it's in your house. But for those that is not in your house, when you walk out your house, you at war. You know, and for those that have a peace of mind at home, all praises, you know, because it's a lot of our Ahchyam and Ahchwathyam brothers and sisters who don't have that peace at home, you know, and they at war within their house because either their husband don't believe, or the husband believe and the wife don't believe, or the husband and the wife believe and the kids don't believe, and it's just war. You know, but if you have that where you had a peace at home, and then when you step out the house, you at war, you on that battlefield, you know, as it says right here, we amongst the what? The snares, the traps.
He said, was that Ecclesiastes 9:11 read before?
Let me see. Let me see. Oh, he said Ecclesiastes 9 and 7. Yeah, I went to Ecclesiastes Us, which was still fire. Thank you. Hey, that still made it come out. You know, that's all through the spirit, Brother Timothy. So now we're going to pull another one. Let's go to the original. Let's go to 9. And then I'll come back to Romans. Somebody remember that we was in Romans 8 and 29.
Oh, that's because he said Ecclesiastes first.
Oh, did he?
He meant Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, he meant Ecclesiastes. Right. Hey, but that still was good though. You know, it was right on target through the spirit. It's Ecclesiastes 9. That's what he wanted. I went to Sirach though 9. 9 and 11. You, whenever you there, Ak, you can bring it out.
Ecclesiastes 9 and 11.
Uh-huh.
Verse 11. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all.
But time and chance happen to them all. Meaning everybody will receive it. What? You will hear the word. It's a lot of people when we out there preaching, they hear it and they walk right by it. Or they pass by it on their scooter, or they pass by it on their bike, or they pass by it in the car. I've been preaching out there on the corner, and people will hear it and they'll roll their window up. Or they'll yell out the window, "Hail Satan," or try to spit on you. Or you know, the ones that's on the motorcycle, they'll rev that engine because they don't want to hear it.
Mhm.
But they had a chance to hear it. But you know, they didn't take that chance that the Most High was giving them, right? And I'm glad it says this, but time and chance happened to all. You had the chance, but you squandered it. Verse 12,
Verse 12. For man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare. So are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them.
When it falleth suddenly upon you. You didn't know you was going to die today. You got dressed, you woke up, you brushed your teeth, took your shower, put on some nice clothes. You thought you was going to that function or that barbecue, or you thought you was going over that boy house or that girl house. Or you thought you was going out to preach today. You got up, you say, I'm going out with my brethren, my Ahchyam today, and we're going to preach the word. But you didn't know that the Most High had something else planned for you today. You didn't know your name was on a list to be called today. This is what it's talking about. For man also knoweth not what? His time. You don't know when the angel of death is coming. You don't know. It's like a fish. When a son and his dad or whoever, brothers, get together and they say, we going fishing today. Those fish that are in the water, they don't know that you on the way up there. They don't know that you went to Walmart last night and bought worms and hooks and all that and bought an ice chest and some ice. They have no idea. But your mind, you going out fishing. And you get there and you cast your line out there. And here come a fish. And he gets snagged. And he what? He dies that day. He gets eaten that day. But he had no idea. It's the same thing for us as men. So no, we don't know the day of our death, the hour of our death. But what should we do? What this whole lesson has been about. Make sure that you are what? Prepared. If you go back and you look at the thumbnail, in the corner right-hand side, it says what? Be prepared. So if you are like that fish and you get caught that day, you prepared and you ready. You was walking in the spirit and you was standing in the spirit. Right? Any more meat on that? It says, this wisdom have I seen also under the sun, and it seemed great unto me, right? He finna go into something else, but we'll go back to Romans. The water, Brother Timothy. The water for that. Both of those was good. Both of those was good. Even though you wanted that one, both of those was good. What he say? God. There was Ecclesiastes 9. Yeah, con. Let me see what he say, Brother Timothy. We must have patience with ourselves also in this walk. Con. Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. You must have patience, you know. Matter of fact, that's one of the fruits of the spirit, you know. Wow, great thought, sir. My mind. And then he says, my goodness, right? All praises to the Most High. Let me get this one real quick since we just brought that out. One of them fruits of the spirits before we close out. We was in Romans. Let's get that one fruit of the spirit real quick. Galatians chapter 5. Real quick. As he brought up, one of the fruits of the spirits is patience. I just want to show that for those that may watch this at a later time, or for those that may be watching where it's at. Those are the works of the flesh, but we just gonna go straight to the spirit. Galatians 5:22.
The book of Galatians chapter 5 verse 22. But the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law.
Wait a minute. It didn't say nothing about patience. Huh? You said where?
Long-suffering.
Long-suffering? Okay. They said long-suffering. I was just looking for that word patient because I was going to go to Peter. But y'all say long-suffering, that's good enough. That's good enough. Temperance is self-control. Yep. Meekness. That's being humble, gentleness, yeah, joy, peace, kind. So you get the legit what we saying. Kind. All praises. Keep going.
I just want to see.
Verse 24. And
Verse
they that
24.
are, go ahead.
And they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust.
Mm-hmm.
If we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit.
Con. That's what we've been screaming this whole day. And I know it's hard. You know what I'm saying? But let that spirit overwhelm you. Pour it on you. You know, let it just take the time, like the brother Timothy said, be patient. You know, breathe. That's what I'm learning to do. Breathe. And don't act out on your first thing, you know, that first emotion. Take the time, let that pass, breathe some, give it to the Most High, and then, you know, go head on. Don't just have that impulse to just jump off, right? Go ahead.
Verse 25. Or verse 26. Lock it.
Yeah, 26.
Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another.
Yeah, we don't have to envy one another or provoke one another, you know, or provoke. Because you never know what could happen when you provoke somebody. All right, let's go back to Romans 8. We was at 29. Let's read that. We're going to go to 31, and then we'll get ready to close out.
The book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 29.
Con.
From whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate, to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. And whom he called, them he also justified. And whom he justified, them he also glorified.
And that's powerful right there. What does justified mean? Give me the definition of what justified is. Anybody. Because it said, moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. In Matthew 22, it said, many are called, right? Many are called, but few are chosen. Them right here, it says in Romans 8:30, that them he also called. And in whom he called, them he also justified. So the ones that were called were justified. The ones that are chosen are justified. Meaning good.
Meaning have done.
Meaning have done.
For.
Are marked. By a good. Or a legitimate reason. Having purpose for that. Right? So it was marked. So you have been marked. This is why you were predestined. That's why you were called. That's why you were chosen. That's why it was for the foreknowledge, all these things, that you are part of the elect. And you have been justified. So if you're watching this, if you're tuning in, and you walking in the Most High, law, statute, commandments, you taking this with integrity, as we started off the lesson with, right? A man of integrity, being patient, long-suffering, the works of the spirits, you already been justified. Your sins have been cleansed already. Don't worry about that. But now we're called to what? Walk in the spirit. That's what he's saying. Verse 31.
Verse 31.
Uh-huh.
What shall we then say to these things?
Come.
If the Most High be for us, who can be against us?
And that's why I say I'll just stop at 31, because I mean, what else would we need to say? If the Most High Yahawah and his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, is with us and for us, who can be against us? What power can they have against us when we have the power of the Creator? He's with us. He's for us. There's no other power. That's why I started it off. Remember, Isaiah 45, we read on down. What did he say? That there is no other God or deity or power besides me. There's no other. So there's no other power that can go over the Most High and rule over. No. He is it. The supreme power. And if he is with you, who can be against you? Who can be against you? No matter what they do, they will never prevail. They can try, but they never, ever will. Because the Most High is with you. And the Most High Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, has already justified you from the sins that you did in your body. But now he commands us to do what? Walk in righteousness. That's where you get the word Christian, or walk as Christ. But I already explained, those who don't do it are what? Antichrist. Let's jump real quick, 1 Peter 1, and then we'll close out. 1 Peter chapter 1.
You want verse 2?
Khan.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 1, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Elect, according to the foreknowledge of the Most High, the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahawashi Hamashiach. Grace be unto you, and peace be multiplied.
So all throughout the Bible, we have showed it all throughout the day. And this is just some. You know, this is just a couple, a sprinkle. I didn't want to rain on it. But you could just see Paul, Peter, James, Isaiah, all the way back to Genesis, Adam, Abel, Seth, Enos, you know, all of these men, Jared, you know, all of these men you could see of the elect, all the way down to Noah. Peter saying the same thing. Caiaphas saying the same thing. The elect according to what? The foreknowledge of the Most High, the Father, through sanctification of the what? Of the Spirit. It's all about the rakah. It's all about the Spirit unto what? Obedience. Of the sprinkling of the blood of Yahawashi Mashiach. So once you've been sprinkled with that blood, once you have given your life to him, once you have been born again, now you have to walk in what? Obedience. Keep going, Ak.
Verse 3. Blessed be the Most High and Father of our Master, Yahawashi Hamashiach, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahawashi Hamashiach from the dead.
Salakia. Yeah, from the dead, Salakia. I jumped ahead, Salakia. That's what I was breaking down earlier, is that what? We have this lively hope now. Because he did that work for us in the body, so when we born again, to put away that old man, become the new man, and then still receive that reward to the resurrection and get the crown and the reward and be in the kingdom of heaven with him. That's that lively hope we have. This is what Peter or Kaifa is writing about. All praises. I get so excited. But go ahead.
Verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
To an inheritance, incorruptible.
What?
Incorruptible.
Uh-huh.
And undefiled.
Undefiled. It has never been defiled. Where we're going to end, what we're entering into through Hamashiach Yahawashi, when you see the sprinkling of his blood. This is why it's so important to turn from that old man into that new man and walk in righteousness. Everyone that he always healed, he told them what? Go and sin no more. Lest something worse happen to you. You know? Lest something worse happen to you. Go ahead.
And that fadeth not away.
Uh-huh.
Reserved in heaven for you.
Come. Go ahead.
Who are kept by the power of the Most High, through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time.
Yeah, we in the last time, and it's being revealed right now. Go ahead.
Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations.
We are. I speak to my brother almost daily, if not daily, every other day or something. Too many days don't pass to me and a brother talk, and I let him know, man, I'm going through stuff. You know, he weighing on me. He doing what he do. You know, and I know it's Satan, but hey, Satan got to get the permission from the Most High. And I say, Most High, why I got to go through all this? Why I got to go through all this? He said, you did say you was going to follow me. You did say you love me. You said these things. I said, I did. He said, well, I got to prove you. I got to prove you. I proved everybody. I got to prove you. So I don't care that you sad. I don't care that you going through this. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Even though he do care, he like a father that said, I don't care. I got to, he said in the book of Hebrews that he chastised those who he what? Love. If he don't chastise you, then he said you will be what? Like a bastard. He called it discipline. So even though we as children of his may go through things, that's just his way of proving us, disciplining us, letting us know to do what? Cleave unto him even harder. Don't go astray. Don't go to the left. Don't go to the right. You know, don't look for nothing else, but cleave unto him harder. Go ahead, Op.
Verse 7. That the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold, that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahawashi HaMashiach.
That goes to what I just said. It didn't even know it was right there. I didn't. I mean, I knew it was in there, but I didn't read ahead to, you know what I'm saying? But through the Spirit, it was right there. It was. Through the trial of your faith. That's what it is. As the brother Timothy said, you know, this is what he said. It's not a sprint. You know, you got to walk this in patience. And he going to put you through that trial of fire. You're going to have highs and you're going to have lows. But what you have to remember is to always cleave unto the Most High, no matter what. Like Job did. No matter what happened, it says, Job, your daughters is dead. Your sons is dead. You lost this. You lost that. Job said, man, hey, I came into this world naked. I'm going to leave naked. His wife said, man, curse the Most High and die. He told her, you sound like a fool. He never went to the left or went to the right. He just stayed with the Most High. Even when he got sick, he stayed with the Most High. And that's what he tried to teach us and tell us, just stay with me. Because all of these things that happen are earthly things. But you are a spiritual being. You're not an earthly being. You're a spiritual being. This is what he's trying to enlighten us with. We have been deceived here on this earth to think that we're earthly beings. We're human beings. This is what they call us, human beings. We're not human beings. We're spiritual beings. We've been lied to. We've been deceived. You're not earthly. You're not human. You are spiritual, because that's the very essence of your life, of who you are. If you was earthly beings, then your body would live here forever. And that thing that gives your body life will stay there. But it doesn't. It leaves. And when it leaves, that very body is left here. Why? Because that's not you. It's not you. Because you, which is the life force, is a spiritual being, or are a spiritual being. You just occupied in this suit. That's what we'll call it. Them people that work at the amusement park, they put on one of them suits to dress up like somebody. But you never can see the person that's in the inside, the costume. You know, the people that put on the suit at those amusement parties dress up like Mickey, but you never see the person that's in the inside. You just see the person that's that thing that's on the outside. That's just like us. You never know. This is why you have to get to know who you are spiritually and not fleshly. You don't know who you are until you know the very spirit. But if you letting your flesh control you, then hey, you're a fleshly person, and that is you. That's why people murder people, kidnap people, rob people, rape people, because they're in the flesh. They're letting the flesh control them. And the fear in the spirit at that particular time has no power, because the flesh and the evil is ruling them. I didn't mean to go off, but go ahead.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
Whom having not seen, ye love. And whom thou now ye see him not. Salakia, though now ye see him not. Yet believing, ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory.
God, that's what we doing. We rejoicing. and unspeakable joy and full of glory. All praises be to the Father and his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, receiving what?
The end of your faith.
Uh-huh.
Even the salvation of your souls.
Uh-huh.
Of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that shall come unto you. Searching what? Or what manner of time the spirit of Hamashiach, which was in them, did signify, when it testified beforehand the sufferings of Hamashiach, and the glory that should follow. Unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves, but unto us they did minister the things, which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Ghost sent down from heaven, which things the angels desire to look into. Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end of grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahawashi Hamashiach. Verse 14. As obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust and your ignorance, but as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation. Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy.
God, the water for that. The water for that. And that just goes into everything we just talked about. And especially verse 14, it says, as obedient children, not fashioning yourself according to the former lust in your ignorance. Now that you realize and now that you know, you have a duty. We have a duty. I have a duty within myself that I didn't have prior. Let me see if I can find that. I think it's Romans 8 and 19. Let me see. Let me go back to Romans real quick. That now we have an obligation to righteousness. Somebody pull that for me. Is it 6 and 19? Then now we have an obligation to do righteousness. I'm trying to see. All I can think about is 19. I was thinking Romans 6 and 19, but I don't think that's it. Let me see. Oh, yeah, 20. I got it. 6 and 20. Right here. Romans 6 and 20. And I'm in the NLT, though.
You want the NLT?
Yeah, because the way it said. I got all of them right here on the screen. Just read all three: King James, New King James, and NLT.
Romans 6, verse 20. For when you were the servants of sin, you were free from righteousness.
Uh-huh.
New King James Version. For when you were slaves of sin, you were free in regard to righteousness.
You were free in regard to righteousness, right? Keep reading.
NLT. When you were slaves to sin, you were free from the obligation to do right.
Con, that's exactly what I wanted. So that was Romans 6 and 20, right? We didn't have that obligation to do right. We didn't have that obligation, but now we what? We have that obligation to do what is right because we have been enlightened. And verse 21 says what? You can read it regular. Watch this.
Verse 21. What fruit had ye then in those things whereof ye are now ashamed? For the end of those things is death.
God. Now when you get that light and you understand the law, statutes of the Most High, and the things that you indulged in and the things that you did, you understand now you ashamed of those things. And those things that you indulged in brought forth death. That's where you were on your way to. Eternal damnation. The lake of fire. That's where you on your way to. Or for some of us, that's where you were on your way to. And you are ashamed of the things that you used to do. Right? But as it says in 20, you didn't have no obligation then because you was ignorant. You didn't know. But now that you have been enlightened and know, right? What Hebrews 10 says, you got to live in righteousness now. You're obligated. You have an obligation to. So, you got anything you want to share, Ak, before we get ready to close out?
No, the only thing I can say was this was a very powerful lesson.
I didn't even know I had that on the screen still. Nobody said nothing. Okay, well, what we got? Jenny Khan. I don't want to mispronounce the name.
Abaraya
Yasharella. Yeah, Yasharella. Shalawam. The water for tuning in. She said Shalawam, Jenny. Good. Shalawam. Right. Khan. Just trying to go through the chat. That's why I be said sometimes I gotta go back. Abaraya, she said Khan. Then she said Halaya, Abba Yahawah, Khan. The water for tuning in once again. And then Maya, not Pashya. Don't forget to like the video and share it out. That's very important. Khan. You know, don't forget to do that. And if I didn't get to anybody in the chat, if I missed anybody, sorry, Salakia. You know, continue to do it though, and you know, I go back and check it. But sorry, Salakia, what was you saying, Ak? Go ahead.
Just, that was a very powerful lesson, Ak, that was brought out. And again, we're gonna say from time to time and all the time, make sure you're taking notes, going back and watch the class again, because again, there was some stuff that Ak was dropping that it changed my perspective on how I see scripture. So again, make sure you're taking your notes, watching the class, however many times you need to do it in order to understand. And if you have any questions, reach out. Our email's at the bottom. And all praise to the Most High.
Khan. Oh, the brother Timothy left some more comments. Let me go back to why don't forget the video. Brother Timothy, yes, he will try you in fire for sure. Yeah, Khan. Bro, bring it out. All praises. I'm trying through the spirit, though. Through the spirit. Like I always say, you know, Big Khan, Mayan, Napashya. Like I always say, it's not me. It's all through the spirit. You know, it's only the Most High that allows for this to happen. You know, I appreciate when brothers say bring it out or this or that, you know, but I just want you to know that you're looking at the spirit that's really bringing it out. I'm just the vessel, you know. They say it's the last comment. Let me so Khan, Brother Timothy. And then here we go. You're not going off. You're in the spirit. Khan.
In other words, you're not getting off the lies. You're in the spirit.
Oh.
And you roll over our message.
Khan. Oh, the same. This is the same teaching you had earlier in your Sabbath class. Khan. Oh man, that's powerful right there. That's powerful. You said, "Oh, get off the live, huh?" Well, let's go into some more scriptures. Let's go into some more. What we got? What you got, Ak? I know you got something you want to bring out, Brother Philip.
Let's get that Romans 10:1.
I can barely see. You got to move up a little bit. No,
you don't like the head. You want the whole body.
Yeah, there you go, right there. Okay, you said go where now?
Romans 10:1. Since we're on Romans.
Romans 10:1.
Right, kind of back to what I was saying earlier. Take notes, right? The whole purpose of the notes is to help you reflect and go back over what we were reading, or bring it out, right? So since we're in Romans, let's go to Romans 10:1.
Romans 10, chapter 1. Romans 10:1.
When you got it out, just go ahead and read it.
It says, brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to the Most High for Israel is that they might be saved.
Right. So we were bringing out earlier that the Spirit itself does what we would call self-healing, right? Back up, can you go back up? Verse 1. Right. So the Spirit itself does healing for us, right? So part of that, we should be able to know that our mind is going to tell us what exactly to pray for. And what we're reading right here is that we're praying for Israel to be saved. And one way we're doing it is bringing out lessons like this, showing us how to get right, how to make sure our election is sure. For the most part, you know, all praise to the Most High.
You want me to keep going?
Go ahead, August. That's cool.
Verse 2, Romans 10:2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High but not according to the knowledge.
Right. Right. And that's what we're doing, trying to break down those ways or methods or understandings that they have that is not according to the Most High. And we're trying to bring out the word of the Most High and show you how it is that we're supposed to have a zeal for him.
All praises. All praises. Romans 10:3, for they, being ignorant of Elohim's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of the Most High. Ooh, that's deep right there.
Bring it out.
And that's a lot is going on right now in the nation, you know, within the churches and within our community. When I say community, I mean those have been awakened, you know, that know who they are and are serving the Most High and doing their best to their ability to serve him and walk in righteousness, right? But then you have other ones amongst us that are wolves that are leading the people astray and saying that they have the truth, and if you're not with them, then you're not in the truth, and all of these different things. Listen, the Most High has the truth. Yahweh is the truth. Hamashiach Yahawah is the truth. So if you're not in them, then you're not in the truth. I don't want to be in no man. I want to be in Hamashiach Yahawah and in the Father. So, like it says right here, they have something different. And they're ignorant to what the real and root of the true righteousness is. Verse 4, for Hamashiach is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth. Right? You want me to continue on?
No, that was good. And going back to verse 3, that just
let me go back.
Us knowing that now, that some of us are going to establish our own righteousness. We're the house of the truth. I've heard that. This is the only way you're going to be able to get to the kingdom. I've heard that.
Right.
So that's out there. There's videos of that if you go and look for that.
And that's sad, man. You know, and people believe that and buy into that. But you know, I guess it's sad, but at the same time, it said that, you know, people will have itching ears, you know, and they will want to hear about those type of fable things, and you know, hey, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do, you know. Let's go to Timothy. Second Timothy. One of my favorites to go to. I got a couple. I got like two. This one and another one I want to go to, and then I'll, you know.
2 Timothy?
2 Timothy 4:1.
The book of 2 Timothy, chapter 4, verse 1. I charge thee, therefore, before the Most High, and the Master Yahawashi Hamashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom.
Come.
Preach the word.
Do what?
Preach the word.
Uh-huh.
Be instant in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine.
So we have to urge people to turn from their wickedness, right? Rebuke them, let them know what they're doing wrong. You know, if you see them doing wrong, let them know what they're doing wrong. You know, point them in the way of righteousness, show them in the scripture, this is what's said. All you could do is show them. We're watchmen, right? All you could do is show them, tell them, rebuke them, reprove them, and encourage them and urge them to do what? Turn to the true doctrine. What it says right here, with all long suffering, right? Verse 3.
Verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. But after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears.
And that's what we were speaking about just a moment ago, but I wanted to go to it and show you for yourself. So, man, something burned. I wanted to show you for yourself so you can actually see it. Yeah. So you can actually see it for yourself, right? So like if something came by and was like burning, so it kind of threw my thought off real quick. But no, I wanted to show you in the scriptures where it is that this is prophetic, that these type of things will be going on. Like the ox said, he has heard this before. If you're not over here, then you're not in the truth, or you don't have the truth. And these are the things that's going on. And it had already been written aforetime to let us know, even in this time, to the time we're living in now, that these things are what is occurring. Verse 4.
Verse 4. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth.
They're going to turn away their ears from what?
The truth.
So that don't mean that they had a truth. Just because somebody proclaims that they had a truth doesn't mean that they really have the truth. Hey, crap is crap. You can put it in a box and wrap it up and put Louis paper all over it and make it look nice. That don't mean that it's really true. It's still going to be what? Crap. Hey, it is what it is. Go ahead.
And shall be turned unto fables.
Uh-huh.
But watch thou in all things. Endure afflictions. Do the work of an evangelist. Make full proof of thy ministry.
And that's what we have to do. We have to make full proof of the ministry, right? And do the work of an evangelist. This is what we're doing. Like I say, me and the Ak, we always putting forth. We always doing the will of the Most High. The evangelist, right? We bringing out the word right here. We bring it out last Sabbath. We do it all throughout the week. Anybody that know us, that we have conversation with, we handing out flyers. We're always doing the work. The work never ceases. The work never stops. And then we have to make full proof of our ministry to continue to look at ourselves in the mirror and make sure that we not going off. You know what I mean? You have to constantly look at yourself to make sure that you are staying in balance, that you are staying humble. Because when man get exalted, even through the Most High, you know, you can start to fall off. Or you could do, it only takes, as I did the lesson the other day, it only takes one wrong thing. Like I did the lesson the other day, like I say about Saul, when he went and he took some spoils. Instead of killing all of the Amalekites and killing all of the spoil, he took some to sacrifice to the Most High, right? But the Most High said, since you didn't listen to me and hearken to me and you listen to the people, then I'm going to take the kingdom from you. Same thing he did with Moses, like the example I gave. He told Moses to speak to the rock, right? Moses went because he was irritated with the people and called them rebellious, stiff-necked.
And struck it.
And struck the rock, right? And then the Most High said, because you didn't believe my words, or you didn't believe what I said, right? You're not going to go into the land that flows with milk and honey. Just one thing he did, after all of the great things that he did, in the wilderness 40 years, led the children out of the children of Israel out of Egypt, split the sea, all these things, built the tabernacle, all these things he did. And now he ain't even gonna go into the land of flow with milk and honey because he hit the rock and didn't speak to the rock. So we must always make sure that what? The ministry is pure. That you are walking as pure as you possibly can and being in the spirit and staying in the spirit. Because it's not about you, it's about the ministry. And you don't want to taint or pollute the word of the Most High in any type of way. It's not about you. Who cares about you? It's just you just a vessel anyway. I'm just a vessel anyway. The word is what's more important. The word must go forth. Which it will, because it says his word will endure forever. So it will go forth. But while the time is here with you, that he has let you hold the torch. He has let you hold the lamp. Make sure you do it with integrity and in righteousness so you can receive the reward. That's what I'm saying. So make full proof of the ministry. Go ahead.
Verse 6. For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith.
I kept the faith. He said he have kept the faith. What does it mean I have kept the faith? I didn't turn my back on it. I didn't turn my back on Hamashiach Yahawashi. I didn't turn my back on Yahweh. I kept the faith. All of the beatings I've been through, all the imprisonment that I've been through, all the times that they tried to kill me, all the times that they stoned me, I didn't turn my back on the faith. And we know as we read Paul's writings, he said, I was stoned 2 times. Let's get that. Let me see what verse that is. Let's get that. I want to get that because I quoted it. Paul said that. I want to get that. Paul says he was stoned 2 times. He was shipwrecked. He was in prison.
Acts 14.
2 Corinthians 11. 2 Corinthians 11. Let's go there real quick. 2 Corinthians. Let me pull that. He stayed in the faith. He didn't turn his back on the faith. 2 Corinthians 11 and 20 and 25. I would say. Yeah.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 25.
24. Let me see.
24.
Let me read this. 23. Are they ministers of? Oh, let's start at 23. 23.
2 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 23.
Are
they ministers of Hamashiach? I speak as a fool. I am more, and labors more abundant, and stripes above measure, and prisons more frequent, and deaths oft.
Now this is like Salakia. He say he's speaking as a fool. Look, he boasted, but it's not really a boast. He just letting you know that if you say that you're a minister, which we are ministers of Hamashiach Yahawaah, he letting you know that I did it more. I labored more. I took more stripes than you. I've been in prison more than you. I faced death more than you. This is what he's letting us know. That he went 10 toes down all the time, that he never turned his back on the faith all the way to his death, right? Salakia for the noise. And then he finna go into detail. 24,
Verse 24. Of the Jews, 5 times received I 40 stripes, save one.
Woo! Go ahead.
25. Thrice was I beaten with rods. Once was I stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day I have been in the deep.
So basically, thrice is 3 for those who don't know, right? 3 times he was beaten with rods. 3 times. I said twice. I was mistaken, Salaki, about that. It says once was I stoned. You know what it means to be stoned? That means they tied you to a tree and threw rocks at you. And not pebbles. We talking about rocks, big rocks. They tried to stone him to death. 3 times he said I suffered shipwrecks at night and day. And I have been in the deep. Go ahead.
Verse 26. In journeyings often, in perils of water, in perils of robbers, in perils by my own countrymen.
By his own countrymen, meaning his own people. His own people he had to watch out for. Go ahead.
In perils by the heathen.
Uh-huh.
In perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, and in perils among false brethren.
Among who?
False brethren.
False brethren. Go ahead.
Verse 27. In weariness and painfulness, in watchings often, in hunger and thirst, in fastings often, in cold and nakedness.
Go ahead, read that last one.
Beside those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches.
That's what he was concerned about. That's what he means. I fought the good fight. I fought the, can you say that? The prison, being stoned, shipwrecked, night and day, as he say, fasting, cold, naked, never turned his back on the faith. Never. I mean, like I say, that's why I say he fought the good fight. You got a comment?
Yes, I was going to say maybe in this day and age, it may not be similar to those things.
In today's day and age, she said it might not be similar to those exact things, but go ahead.
But for those who are in the fight, or trying to walk the way the Most High has deemed us to be,
right?
The sacrifices and the things that we go through on a daily basis is pretty much
Yeah. This is just what he went through, but we go through. It may not be, like you said, the same thing. That's a great comment. It may not be the same exact thing that we go through, but we go through daily things out here in this world, in this system that they have created here, because this is a total different system that is set up here where we live in America, you know, as opposed to when they were writing this and when Paul was alive, right? Total different system, different fashions, different things that they had set up that they didn't have set up now. But yeah, our brothers are still being in prison. People are still getting whipped, you know. Somebody may not be shipwrecked and things like that, but we're still going through things. We have brethren out there that are cold, that are naked, you know. This is why we have to what? It says give to the poor. Those that ask, give to them. You know, it's many things within the scripture that it shows us how to love one another, you know, and that's why we must love one another and take care of one another as brethren and our sisters, right? So yeah, that was a great comment. Great comment. I'll get one more and then we'll close out because I know everybody pretty tired, you know. Let me stop sharing that one and let's jump over to the book of Sirach chapter 2 real quick. I just want to share that. Sirach chapter 2, since we were talking about the fight, the good fight, and all these different things, we'll close out with the classic. Not unless you have something you want to close out with,
Con. You want 2 and verse 1?
Yeah. We'll go to 1 to about what, 7 or 8, something like that.
Con. The book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 1.
Con.
Or otherwise known as a classic. Verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve Yahawah, prepare thy soul for temptation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble.
So the same thing that is being said here is the same thing like Paul was saying, all of the things that he went through. In the comment that she made, we may not be going through the same thing that Paul went through at that time, but we're going through things here and now. And even with the same message, we have to do what? Constantly endure. And don't make haste in the time of trouble. Like I was saying, things that I'm going through, things that other Ahchyam or brothers or sisters may be going through, you know, and we want it to end. And I know sometimes, because even me, I petition for the Most High, please let it end. And Hamashiach Yahushua did too. He said, hey, if you can let this cup pass, please let it pass. But never the will, let it be your, nevertheless, Salakia, let it be your will, right? Let it be the Most High will. So, you know, we have to constantly endure and set our heart, what? Aright on the Most High Yahweh. Verse 3.
Verse 3. Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
And see, that's what we have to learn to do as believers, walking continually, making our ministry, you know, proving our ministry and things like that. We have to learn how to cleave unto him in every situation, not just in some situations, you know, because people tend to choose when they want to cleave to the Most High. In this situation, I'll cleave to him. But when something happens that's really detrimental, or, you know, you take it into your own hands, or, you know, you don't cleave unto the Most High, and is, you know, you're not feeling that the Most High is for you at that particular moment. But we have to cleave unto him in all situations and depart not away. And that's how you may be what? Increased at the end. These are the most important things right here. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
And see, Salakia, you know, that's one that hit home for me, because like I say, me and the Ak be talking and things that just been happening to me left and right. I mean, sometimes I'm like, goodness gracious. But, you know, it's through the will of the Most High, and I understand that. And this is why it says cleave unto him, and I understand that. And then he's saying, take it cheerfully, because it can weigh you down, and it can start to pull on you to where you're not as happy to do the will. You're not as happy to bring forth the message, because you're letting these things eat away at you eternally, or internally, I should say. And it's taking that that joy away. But you have to remember, as the Spirit told me, those are things of the flesh. And who cares about the things of the flesh? We care about the things of the Spirit. And nothing could take away your joy from the Spirit. Nothing could take away the will from the Spirit. Like I said earlier, we was reading, if the Most High is with us, who can be against us? And you have to keep that mind frame, you know. So yeah, be patient, as a brother Timothy said earlier. Look how I came back around for brother Timothy. Be patient when thou art changed to a lower state, you know. And patience is a what? They say patience is a what? A virtue. It's a virtue, you know. So we all need what? Patience. Verse 5,
Verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
God. So that's why you're going through it. That's why I'm going through it. See, we go through those things and we like, man, dang, why? But gold is tried in the fire. All praises to the Most High that you go. You are gold. And he's putting you in the fire to what? Mold you. An acceptable man in where? The furnace. You have been accepted. So once you accept it, I know in the church it teaches you, once you they say come on up to the front, you make your way up to the front of the church and they say repeat this prayer to you, repeat this prayer, and then you save and you think everything is over. No, that's not the truth. The truth is, when you really give your life to the Most High and His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, and you really walking with them, and you putting your life out there for Him, laying down your life for Him, He gonna put you in the furnace. That's when it begins. So you're gonna be in the furnace, but be thankful, as He's saying, that you are the gold, that you are an acceptable man, that have been chosen, predestined, part of the elect to be what? Put in the furnace of adversity. All praises be to the Father for that. Because all He's doing is what? Molding us, pruning us, taking off any assets of old thing, that when we come out, man, you're going to shine like never before. Verse 6.
Verse 6. Believe in Him, and He will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in Him.
So we have we have to believe in Him, and He will what? Help thee. Nobody else will help thee. Now, He may send brothers or Ahchyam your way that will help you. But remember, even if a brother or Ahchyam help you, or Ahchwathyam, which is a sister, even if they help you, remember that was sent from the Most High. The Most High put it on their spirit to help you. The Most High have His spirit in them, that was a good person to help you. So, yes, you thank that brother and you thank that sister, but you make sure that you give honor and glory to the Most High, because He sent them to help you. It's all through His spirit and through His power. Verse 7.
Verse 7. Ye that fear Yahweh, wait for His mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall.
And that's the problem. You know, like I say, I'm not greater than nobody else. We get impatient as people. And then, you start to make moves on your own and do things on your own instead of what? Being patient, right? And wait for His what? Mercy. Because if you happen to go to the left or go to the right, what happened? We fall and then we stumble. Next thing you know, you're praying and you're crying, talking about, forgive me, Father, and you shouldn't have to go through those things because you're more aware of what's going on. He has enlightened you to get this understanding that you shouldn't be like a dog going back to our vomit, right? That vomit should stink. That vomit should smell. But you know who likes it? You know who likes that filth? You know who likes that vomit? Your flesh. It does. The flesh loves it. It's like flies. Flies to a pile of, Verse 8.
Verse 8. Ye that fear Yahweh, believe Him, and your reward shall not fail.
We'll read 9 and stop there.
Verse 9. Ye that fear Yahweh, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy.
and for everlasting joy and mercy. You know,
All praises.
all praises. So hopefully this was edifying. Let me see. We got some things in the chat. Let me see. You're not going off. Oh, that's still Brother Timothy. Several class earlier. That was her. Khan. Mayan Napashia. Khan Og Philip. Khan Og Philip. And then we got another one. Mayan Napashia. The whole chapter is fire. Khan. Yeah, the whole chapter. I like I said, we can keep going, you know, but I don't want to burn nobody out. I want people to, you know, come back at another time. But we can keep going. But we've been on 3 hours already, so I know. Well, let's get it. She said so. Let's get a couple more, and then we'll close out. There's one more on there I want to get real quick, and then we'll close. I'm gonna close out after this. Really, I am. No. Oh, you know what the one I want? That's really I want chapter 1. Let's jump over to chapter 1 because this is the one that's really going on right now with a lot of brethren. Verse 20, let's start at 24, 25. 25.
Sirach 1 and 24? 25?
Yeah, 25.
The book of Sirach, chapter 1, verse 25. The parables of knowledge are in the treasures of wisdom, but godliness is an abomination to a sinner.
That's what we have to understand. Uprightness, righteousness is an abomination to a sinner. They detest it. It's worthless to them. What they call that movie, Despicable Me. Yeah. Look at the word despicable and see what it means, right? That's what it is to who? A sinner. The knowledge of the Most High. That's why they put it down so much. 26.
Verse 26. If thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments, and Yahweh shall give her unto thee.
So if the Bible is telling us if we desire wisdom, meaning to want, right? Desire it. Wisdom, it says keep the commandments. But when we go somewhere, they tell us that the commandments are done away with. So how can we ever receive wisdom or obtain wisdom if we're constantly being told that the commandments are done away with? So these men that you see up preaching on a Sunday morning and have these congregations, what are they really preaching? It can't be wisdom from the Most High because they preach against the commandments. So like I've told you earlier, these are men that are antichrist in the earth doing the will of their father, the devil, Satan. And they're preaching against the commandments. But the men of the Most High like us that keep the Sabbath day and mind the things of what the Spirit, we are preaching to what? Keep the commandments and be holy as he was holy and as he has called us to holiness. 27.
Verse 27. For the fear of Yahweh is wisdom and instruction. And faith and meekness are his delight.
Oh, man. Go ahead.
Verse 28. Distrust not the fear of Yahweh when thou art poor, and come not unto him with a double heart.
And you know, that's a big one. That's why I say this one right here is one of them, not even a regular bullet. That was one of those piercing bullets, right? Because you can't come to the Most High with a double heart. You just can't. That's why he said, we read early, he's jealous. Either you're going to give it all to him. You know, that's like being with a young lady and she with you, but she's still kind of with her ex. You know, she's still kind of thinking about her ex. You know, she kind of double-hearted. You know, she kind of with you, but she not with you. She's still kind of with him, you know, but she hasn't made up her mind yet. So, yeah, she with you, but she not really with you. She living a double life. And that's how the Most High look at it. You're not really with me. You kind of still in the world. You know? Huh?
Being lukewarm.
She says being lukewarm. Yeah. You know? Straddling the fence. You know? Double-hearted, double-minded. But you see what it says right here? It says, and come not unto him with a double heart. So you can't even come to him like that because he can read you. He knows you. Verse 29 says what?
Verse 29. Be not a hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what thou speakest.
Why does it say take good heed what thou speakest? The reason it says that take good heed, yes, we know in Matthew 12, every idle, you shall give an account for every idle word. We know that. But why does it say right here, take good heed what thou speakest? Yeah, everything you say and do is being written against you, yes, but it says by thy word thou shalt be what? Justified. And by thy word thou shalt be what? Condemned. So take good heed, especially when you come into him, and be not a what? Hypocrite in the sight of man, meaning don't say one thing, go out and preach one thing, as the other brothers that we know, that we heard of, that been doing lately, praying and preaching one thing and then doing something else, right? And that's like I say, this is why I want to come to these, because these are things that you have to think about when you walking in your ministry to make it foolproof. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't live in hypocrisy. You know, stay on that righteous path, not to go to the left or to the right, through the spirit. So remember, be not a hypocrite in the sight of who? Man. Why is it so important that he says in the sight of man? Why? Do you think he care about the man? No. It's about being an example, though. If you really his and you walking with him, and he said, if I'm with you, who could be against you? Then you should be an example and let your light shine in the earth to who? Those men. But if you being a hypocrite, then you're not even in righteousness. And you leading the man astray.
Yeah.
You got something?
I was just going to say, that if they see you doing that and you being a hypocrite, then they'll think it's okay.
Right.
And you're leading them astray. Not only that, but you have to think about, because you're leading that person, it's worse for you.
Right.
Also.
Right. That's what the scriptures say, right? That the men, she basically said, if you leading people, or you out preaching, ministering, doing the work of an evangelist or whatever, and then you being a hypocrite, if men happen to see that or women happen to see that, and that leads them off or leads them astray, it'll be worse for you, because that accountability is going to be for you, because you was the shepherd, you was the leader, you was the one that they were looking to, that was supposed to be the example, and yet you were the hypocrite. This is why I said, take good heed what you saying. You out preaching my word. Are you living it? And verse 30 is going to kill it off right here. Go ahead.
Verse 30. Exalt not thyself.
Do what?
That's exalt not thyself.
Oh. I thought it said something different in there. I thought it said exalt yourself. You know.
Verse 30.
Yeah.
Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall.
So when you see men that fall, that have exalted themselves, it shouldn't be a big surprise, because the scriptures lets us know that when men exalt themselves, they're going to fall and do what?
And bring dishonor upon thy soul. And so the Most High discover thy secrets and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation.
He's going to cast you down where?
In the midst of the congregation.
Among all those men in verse 29 that he just told you to do what? Be not a hypocrite. Those men that you're leading, those women that you're leading, the congregation that you're leading, he's going to cast you down because you have exalted yourself and was living in unrighteousness, and he see your secrets. He know what you're really doing, and then he's going to bring you down and cast you down where? In the midst of that congregation. Why? Read.
Because thou camest not in truth to the fear of Yahweh, but thy heart is full of deceit.
All praises be to the Most High Yahweh for that, right? And that's the book of Sirach, chapter 1, verse 29 and 30, which is powerful, powerful, because he can see your secrets. And he will cast you down eventually. You won't last. You won't last. None of them will. But, you know, like it's all predestined, you know, for knowledge. So, you know, everybody got to do their course. Everybody got to do what they're going to do. But they won't last forever. You know, they'll be cast down. They will be. So with that being said, like I say, hopefully this message was very edifying for you. Hopefully it builds you up. Like I say, this message was about what? The elect, right? Prepare yourself for what? The election is coming. For the kingdom of heaven is at hand, right? Matthew 3:2, right? We know the kingdom is ready and prepared. So prepare yourself. Make sure your election is 100% sealed in truth. Stand for righteousness. And listen, thank you all for tuning in. Those that are tuning in, those that have tuned in and will tune in later. The water. Once again, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and share button. And I just say thank you. Anything you got, brother? Let me see if anything is in the chat. Oh, no, that's Brother Timothy from earlier. And then we have Mayan Napashya, Khan Og Philip again. Oh, these are the same ones from earlier. Oh, okay. Khan. You have anything you want to add? Go ahead.
Khan, before we dip out, I want to say all praise to the Most High in the name of his son, Hamashiach Yahushai. I want to give a shout out to all the brothers that are out there right now as we speak, bringing out the word as well on the highways and byways, and all those that are doing the live classes as we speak. So give all praise to the Most High.
Khan. All praises be to the Father Yahweh. The water for the brother Philip joining in and helping us with the ministry, helping us read, bringing forth that strong word. So the water to him and his family. You know, may they have a Barak rest of their day. The water to everybody tuning in. That, like I say, will tune in, have tune in. Thank you so much. That's what the word the water means in Hebrew. Thank you. Peace and blessings to all y'all, to the four corners of the earth, wherever this might reach. And like I say, we do this to build our people up, to edify our people for the truth. You know, it's these and everything that we read, as you can see, these are not my words. These are the words that are coming out of the Holy Bible. And if you believe in the Holy Bible, you believe in the Father and his only begotten Son of Mashiach Yahushua, who the world calls Christ, then these are the very words that are being spoken. He has a chosen, he have people that are elect, right? And those are the chosen and elect people. So make sure your election is true. That's all I'm saying, right? With that, I guess nobody got nothing else. Everybody says Shalawam, Shabbat Shalawam, Barakatah, the Wada Mashkapah, right? Let me get these last ones up on the screen. Shalawam, the Wada Mashkapah, share and like the video. See you next time, Khan. With that, I'm going to say Shabbat Shalawam. And once again, the Wada for tuning in. Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Shalawam. Have a beautiful rest of your Sabbath day, and we'll see you on the next live.